Right.
So you are listening to Free Talk Live. Normally, I would say this is the live call-in radio talk program where you can take control of the airwaves, but it is not. Our phones are still down. We have been unable to restore those as a result of the terrorist attacks here on the studio. We have cobbled together a broadcast. We missed exactly one live broadcast as a result. I think that's pretty amazing, actually, considering the damage that they did to the place and all that kind of thing. We actually did do a show on Tuesday. That was the day of the raid, but we were unable to broadcast it live. So if you missed that show or any of the other shows this week, you can currently find them at soundcloud.com/Free Talk Live. You can also find a couple of them over at our guest who's in the studio tonight.
We're breaking the Flaw.
So over on YouTube, Breaking the Flaw. Can we call you Joe?
You can call me Joe.
Okay. Yeah. Joe has a YouTube channel known as Breaking the Flaw.
Yes.
He is an activist, and he films things and has his own YouTube channel. He was kind enough to come in and stream on his YouTube channel so that there was some kind of live video stream. All of our regular Free Talk Live video streams have not been restored yet. We made some progress today in getting those restored. There's just a couple of hurdles to get over before we can once again stream to our DLive, our Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, etc., and so on. So we have made a pretty good bit of progress. As far as that's concerned, we hope to have those things resolved as far as the technical issues shortly, hopefully in the next coming days. But for the moment, we will be talking from the perspective of freedom and bringing you the best content that we can conjure up until we get back to 100% functionality.
I was happy to find out that someone is compiling my video with the really good audio. So
yeah, there's
ads and everything too.
There's a guy who is technically savvy. He has some production skills that he has done previously. He's produced media. And what he's done is he's taken the audio, as you said, from the actual radio broadcast that we've done, or the recorded from Tuesday, and edited in your video, particularly or specifically the bits that happened during the commercial break. He thought that was a pretty unique experience to be able to see and hear the hosts here in the studio during the commercial break, because normally folks are out there listening and the commercial comes on, all they hear is the commercial. If they're watching on our regular video streams, they hear the commercials, but they can still see us. They can see that we're talking, but they don't hear our conversations. And some of the hosts have opined in the past that the in-between or the commercial segments should be its own podcast.
Ooh, maybe Breaking the Flaw is taking that exclusive. Well, I am right now, so you guys want to hear some behind the scenes during commercial talk. I mean, I want you to listen to commercials too. They're good, important commercials. But
yes,
please, you can watch on my channel right now, Breaking the Flaw, and
please do listen to the ads and frequent our sponsors or otherwise patronize them, because without that we wouldn't be a radio show. But if you do want to also stream, you're welcome to do so. I don't know if I mentioned, but in the studio tonight it's me, the captain, and of course we talked about Joe Breaking the Flaw. He is our guest tonight. We actually had him scheduled for tonight.
Yeah, well, Ian scheduled me, and it's supposed to be Ian here too.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
And so, of course, Ian is unable to be here. He is still, sadly, he's been kidnapped by the terrorists. They're holding him in a cage. They've put him in front of what I can only refer to as a kangaroo sort of procedure, known as a bail hearing to most folks out there. And we are awaiting a decision by the bail judge. The hearing was on Friday late in the afternoon, and the judge didn't make a decision immediately. She did say she'd make a decision expeditiously, but we still await that news. So hopefully he gets out soon.
They could go a lot faster. It's all through Zoom meetings. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So there were a total of 6 people arrested during these terrorist attacks. And we have been, in the last 4 days or so, doing a bit of a fundraiser here on Free Talk Live for things like replacing the windows and doors and locks and things here in the studio and at the Bitcoin Embassy, replacing any of the gear that was taken. Computers were taken, cell phones, tablets, laptops, anything that resembled a hard drive or could contain data. Safes and things were confiscated. People's money was taken, etc., and so on. And I want to say a huge thank you to our listeners and the community at large who have donated so far. There are some links over on Breaking the Flaw's YouTube page for donations. You can send a variety of crypto donations to the vanity address, Captain Kickass at Edge. And those donations will go specifically to the studio, the Bitcoin Embassy, the rebuilding process.
Yes.
However, there's a much bigger need,
Absolutely,
a much bigger ask at hand. Some folks over the last miraculously quick 4 days have put together the crypto6.com. That's the number 6, not the letter or the word 6. The crypto6.com, a legal fundraiser for the 6 folks who have been affected. Ian does have representation, but the other 5 folks, to my knowledge, do not have legal representation. They are all being represented by what are known as public defenders, and we know that that is not going to cut the mustard,
no,
as it were. And so we are doing.
Well, it might.
Well,
I'm not saying, I'm not putting my faith in them, though.
I certainly would not, just because there's a conflict of interest. Where does the public defender draw their paycheck from? The same place the prosecution draws their paycheck from. The same place the judge draws their paycheck from.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wouldn't doubt that they live in the same neighborhoods.
I wouldn't doubt that either. So if you would be so kind as to visit thecrypto6.com and consider donating to the legal fund, there will be some additional action and information around that website. But that is the site. It should be up and functional. I tested it myself, and it looked like it was good to go. So if you want to help these folks get proper legal representation, because we know how folks can get railroaded by the system, please visit thecrypto6.com.
I just want to make a point real quick. Today's the last day to donate on my channel. I need to make money too. But I just want to dedicate a few days to that. So I would suggest going to Captain Kickass at Edge to get that done. Otherwise, I don't know any other methods, but for the studio stuff anyways, but the legal defense is the most important. We need that. Obviously, we got these mics running again, and the studio is going, it's on air. So
Yep.
I would focus on the legal right now, guys.
Agreed. And again, huge thanks to everybody who has donated already. Somebody actually handed me some cash today and said, hey, make sure this goes to the fund. And thanks to Mike for doing that. Mike, yes, I will make sure it goes to the exact right place. We're going to talk a little bit more about the happenings around the Crypto 6. We've got some other content planned for you tonight. And it'll be myself and Joey here. And hopefully we have another guest. More Free Talk Live is on the way. Did I say the Crypto 6?
Oh.
I hope I didn't send people to their own place. I need to go double check.
So, Cindy, why does Howling Wolf need to be arrested?
Nope, it is thecrypto6.com.
It's definitely the Crypto 6, guys. Anti-Fascist Auditors of America, new viewer here, just sub. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I love the name of your channel. Jeff Parks, the courts are crooked. Hold them accountable. Yeah, of course. Well, we'll see how we can do it. I don't know. Me the People. Good to see you in here. Thank you for the other night again.
Love that name.
Yeah. Respects. How y'all doing tonight? We're live in the Free Talk Live studios, guys. I wish we had a way you could call in, but it's too bad we couldn't set up like a Text Now account and put it on speakerphone or something. And just like put it right next to the mic. That's good, bro. Yeah, guys, we're going to be talking about my case today. Stay tuned for that. I have an update for you. And as well as, I think I may have already said it on the air the other day, but I'll talk about my other case that happened here in New Hampshire and where that's going. So I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for that. Oakland, California. Oaksterdam. I call it Oaksterdam because that's where all the weed started blowing up when it first started coming out, guys. And what is it, Oaksterdam University? University you can go to learn how to grow weed. That's all I know about Oakland and the Raiders. You can use StreamYard and we can all connect video or just audio. I don't know. What's up, Bruce Davis? All the way from Oregon. All right, thank you for joining in. Go Raiders. The only reason I liked the Oakland Raiders back in the day, because remember Bo Jackson? Yeah, he was my favorite. I had every single one of his cards. That was the only reason I liked the Raiders. Yeah, the cops are brutal. Hey, anti-fascists, check out my video from last night. I'm gonna edit it out, but I was, maybe I should talk about that on the radio too. But I'll tell you what, I was pulled over illegally yesterday. No probable cause. And every time you get pulled over in New Hampshire, you are supposed to identify yourself. I'd never identify myself. Because it was bullshit pullover. But even if it is a bullshit pullover, you're still supposed to identify yourself. That's the law. That's what they say in the law. Yeah, Bo knows baseball. My favorite, you guys remember Bo Jackson, like his trading cards? I'm sure you remember this card. It's Bo Jackson, and he has the bat along the back side of his back, like holding his arms up. And
Coming back.
And he's wearing football gear. I know you all remember that.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It is Free Talk Live. It is the Saturday edition. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, joining me.
Breaking the Flaw.
And somebody had volunteered to put out a live audio stream, and folks have been reporting that stream is not the live program. So if you are listening on terrestrial radio and you wanted to listen and or view online, just check us out over at Breaking the Flaw over on YouTube. I'm not sure where this volunteer is getting their source from. I was under the impression they were pulling from, an actual terrestrial radio station broadcasting the program tonight. That doesn't seem to be the case. It sounds like folks are hearing a rerun.
You saying like everywhere?
Just on that one, it's a float channel, FLOTE.
Okay.
I posted a link on a variety of social media platforms saying, hey, somebody has volunteered to stream some audio tonight. Check it out, hoping that, it would work out. Sadly, due to the events, the terrorists, and all that kind of thing, our regular audio stream
The lights flickered
is
when you
down.
said that. It was like the terrorists and the lights flickered.
Yeah, they didn't like that. One of these lights is on a timer, actually. I think it's just going, oh, is it time? It's confused about daylight savings time still.
Oh, I see.
So, at any rate, we are on the radio. We have been, again, since Wednesday. We only missed one live broadcast, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Folks who have been donating, thank you again. We have received your donations, particularly the cryptocurrency. We appreciate that. All you have to do if you want to donate, you can do Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Dash, even Monero, XMR, if you like to. Instead of sending to the long string crypto address with letters and numbers, you just type in Captain Kickass at Edge and hit send. However much you want. There's no minimum, there's no maximum. Obviously, you can go ahead and do that. And I have set that up as a vanity address through the Edge wallet. The Edge wallet is not paying me to say any of that, even though they were once a sponsor here at Free Talk Live. I just happen to like the Edge wallet, and I like that feature. So I was able to set that up. And since I'm talking about cryptocurrency, I wanted to tell you that Bitcoin.com is the best source for learning about cryptocurrency. You can go there right now and click on Get Started at the top of the page. Once you do that, you will find a cornucopia of information neatly organized by your needs. There is no longer an excuse for ignorance of this important world-changing information. If you are a knowledgeable crypto user, check out news.bitcoin.com, where you can get the latest headlines of all the news relevant to you. Bitcoin.com is your source for buying cryptocurrency, getting a wallet app, mining, trading, and all the latest cryptocurrency news, all on a very slick and easy-to-use website. Please visit bitcoin.com. All right, so we gave a little bit of an update on Ian. We hope to see his face again real soon. I wanted to tell folks who haven't had a chance to tune in that Aria is out. I have had a chance to speak with her face to face, have a little bit of a shindig. A couple of people.
It was good to see her.
It was good to see her. A group of 5 or 6 of us went out and paid her a visit, and she is in good spirits and preparing for the oncoming fight. So that has happened. And so that is the update there. We have no updates on the host known as Nobody, formerly Rich Paul.
At all?
Well, he was denied bail. And so we don't know what the next steps are. I don't know if he can appeal that. Some folks have reached out to some of his closer family and friends to gain some information. I understand we were able to obtain at least an address where folks can send correspondence to. And I don't have it in front of me, but there's also a way to send some cash to him so that he can, get the things he needs to remain human-like.
Do they accept crypto there?
They do not, of course.
Oh, why wouldn't they do that?
Because they're a government.
Oh.
And the government hates competition.
Oh.
They sure do. They hate competition.
Imagine paying commissary goldbacks or...
That would be great, actually. The problem that I think that might occur should the government, actually begin accepting cryptocurrency is that, the government would just sort of disintegrate after some point, right? All the folks who are in prison or, going to prison for non-violent crimes, right? Crimes where there's no victim.
Right. Well, that's the reason why, that's their motivation for what they did, right? They feel threatened. They don't like competition. They want their cut because they won't have their jobs. They won't survive. Well, maybe if they were here, not here, but like here on this side of things, and they actually earned their money for an honest living and not oppressing people, maybe they'll come around to things.
Yeah, agreed. It takes a while for folks to really, gain the depth of understanding that working for the government makes you a leech, right? You become a leech on the face of society, and your paycheck is derived by theft, by extortion, as a matter of fact, to be more accurate.
And because of that, I think that's why they're incentivized to do what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, and they feel like they are absolved of morality because they wear a different costume.
Mm-hmm. We call those sovereign citizens. Those who work for the state that they uphold the law but don't think the law applies to them. I call them sovereign citizens. Because
that's weird.
Well, because like cops have qualified immunity, right?
They do,
right? So they get they're enforcing the laws, but they don't do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't really be sovereign citizen. That's nice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Interesting. I had never really thought about it because usually when somebody says sovereign citizen, you think about the people who try to uh, game the system or play within the system, where they figure out ways to, not have a license plate on the back of their car, drive without a license, stuff like that. And it's all legitimate stuff according to the letter of the law, but it often means that they have to carry a ton of paperwork with them so that if they do get pulled over by a terrorist, I mean, like a police officer or something like that, then they have to, go through this whole spiel about, oh, look, well, I filled out this particular document and I filed these forms and I have this thing that says I don't have to, and here's subsection F of paragraph 2 of chapter 41 of the code. And like, to me, I've heard all this before. I don't need to present papers to prove that I am a free man.
Yeah, well, I like to go so this is big in the First Amendment community that we call cops sovereign citizens, right? But it's like, I have all the papers and permits and licensing to prove that I have freedom.
Right. Yes. Which, of course, if you were really free, you wouldn't need any of that.
That's right.
Yeah. We're going to have a bunch more to talk about. This is the Saturday night version of Free Talk Live. More is coming up.
How did we start that segment?
I don't remember. Just very haphazardly.
Yeah.
Like talking about, the Crypto 6.
Okay.
Talking about the Crypto 6. The terrorist stuff.
Yes.
The Crypto 6, right, yeah. I didn't even have any. I should have probably had whiskey when I went and got dinner.
There's nothing you got in here?
No.
Did they take it all?
I don't think there's ever been any.
Okay.
I did one time. I brought in one of those, not the regular bottle, but like the junior bottle of some 12-year Glenlivet Scotch. I think it was on like my 1-year anniversary of being on the show.
Shit, yeah.
I brought in, and I think it was me, Ian, maybe Vincent, as a matter of fact, were on that show, and I brought it in, and they were like, what's this for? I'm like, it's a special occasion. Like, they didn't know. You know what I mean? They were every day kind of moves so quickly around
Tell
here.
Vincent to get some scotch before he gets it.
I'll give him some cash. He already is bringing a special treat. At least so he said. So we'll see if he delivers or not.
He's got to go back out. He said he'd go on at 8, right? So if he gets here early.
Yeah, he should be here by now. He said he'd only be a half hour early. Or late early. God, dude. Wow. Holy crap.
And yeah, we're just like today. I feel like there's something else going on.
I was late to the protest, so we should talk about that.
There you go. I also want to talk about my pullover last night.
Okay.
At some point.
Protest. You got pulled over last night? Oh,
It was good. Freaking nail into the wall.
either that or you're wearing like diapers for children. If you want to talk about your pullover. Oh wait, no, that's pull-ups. Sorry, my bad. I try to be funny, dude. It doesn't always work.
Diaper jokes.
Doesn't always
You
work.
must be from the 80s.
I am. Well, I was born in 72.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
You look a lot younger than you are.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, for
48,
real.
man.
I thought you were my age.
How old are you?
36.
Yeah, no, I got like a decade on you, at least 12 years. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
No problem. I'm totally honest, man.
Just
Other than the graying, it doesn't matter. That's not really what says it to me. It's like, it's the complexion and stuff. But anyways.
Somebody said, "Oh, you're a Gemini. You've got eternal youth." And I'm like, I've never heard that. Well, first of all, I don't really put any stock into the whole zodiac fucking
Sure,
shit.
yeah.
But I mean, it's fun. It's novel to me. Like we used to do a Gemini show because I knew a whole bunch of people whose birthday was like within the same week or two, on either side. So I like, hey, let's just have a collective birthday party where everybody shows up and my band will play and your band will play and his band will play and we'll have a big party, and it was fun. So we would do that every year.
Satan will fall from the heavens when all the different zodiacs are combined.
Right. And it was pretty awesome because if only 10 people showed up to your show, it was as if 20 people showed up.
Oh.
What was the original topic that you and Ian?
My Worcester arrest. which I've been told not to talk about, but I'm not, because I didn't care. I've been talking about it since I fucking it happened.
Who told you to talk about it?
My lawyer. You can go fuck off.
Okay. Right.
I've been talking about it all since, and he's not my first lawyer. He was a court appointed. You can go fuck off.
Okay. All right.
I trust him on everything else.
All right.
I'm not giving away my free speech.
I mean, it's your arrest, bro. You know, do what you want, man.
No. He doesn't really have a problem with it. He's like, yeah, don't talk about it. I'm like, well, I want to talk about it. He's like, all right.
Yeah, we'll move into that like right away. What do you want to talk about first? Worcester or?
Let's go to Worcester first.
Worcester?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It is the Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live. If you were expecting to hear Mark Edge, Ian Freeman, and myself, sadly, that is not the case. Mark Edge is out of town and has been. He was doing some speaking engagements and some family things. And so he plans to return. We hope to have him back on soon. However, Ian has been kidnapped by the terrorists, thugs, the gang of thieves known as the government, and so we hope to get him back soon as well. So in the meantime, I am your host, the Reverend Captain Kickass. Joining me tonight, it's
Breaking the Flaw.
And so, Joe, Ian had actually scheduled you to be on tonight, so I'm thankful that he did, because, well, it means one less thing I had to do.
Been here anyways.
One less thing I had to do in scheduling somebody to come in tonight and getting another co-host. But there's a specific thing that happened to you that he wanted you to talk about and you wanted to talk about. So let's go there.
Yeah, all right. So the reason why I want to talk about it today, because in a few days I'm having jury selection. So on the 25th, I have jury selection for my arrest that happened in Worcester, and it was egregious what they did to me and my friends, but mostly me because I'm the one that ended up getting arrested. But
so can you tell the audience, you know, what led up to the event?
Yeah.
And then give us some details about the event itself.
Well, let me tell you guys that I'm a First Amendment auditor, as well as like I do press work and cop watching, right? So First Amendment auditing is you go out and film public officials either by just, you know, taking a look at the building, basically holding the public officials accountable for their actions. And that includes like a full audit. And I'm gonna take my camera out there and record every inch of that building, basically. So I decided to go to Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It was in between. I did a job. I was doing Uber, right? So I drove all the way out there, and I'm like, hey, my friend Josh from Accountability for All was. Hey, where do you want to go? Oh, I'm gonna be in the Worcester area. Let's go there. Okay.
Okay.
So we went to the Worcester police station. I dropped my customers off. I went to the Worcester police station. I want to make that clear that they took my work away from me, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, essentially when they arrested me. But we went and filmed inside the police station. We're showing off, you know, mug shots, you know, things in the cases, the old, like, you know, that's what we do. We film all these things. We point out the ATM front and center.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's when the police station has an ATM, you know, they maybe need to make some money.
Yeah,
right?
It sounds like it's far too convenient for the police station to have an ATM.
But I don't know. Actually, I don't remember if they even had one there. I think they do. I'm sure they do. But anyways, we get to my point. Is we went up to the window, the clerk window, and there was a sign that said, "Please refrain from using cell phones at the window." And I get it. They can ask, but I still think it's kind of like unconstitutional. Like, people have the right to do it. You can't, like, what are you gonna do? Try to enforce this sign right here? And
right.
So anyways, we're filming. So we have 3 cameras going, and there's another person with them. So we questioned that sign. The clerk agreed that, you know, she's going to get it removed. She said she's going to do that. And then an officer comes up to the window, starts talking to us.
Okay.
He was on desk duty for some reason. And he is just snarky attitude.
Too many donuts?
Sarcastic. Yeah, too many donuts. Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Nothing burgers. I don't know.
All right.
Too many donuts. So he's just like, it's a hard time. And then the next thing you know, a plainclothes officer wearing a shirt that says Hurley, by the way.
Okay.
It's important because his name is actually Michael Hurley.
Oh,
so
interesting.
funny that he had to wear that. And so he just goes, "What's going on here?" And he grabs my phone, and just starts pushing me and my friends out of the building. It literally used my friend Josh as a battering ram to the doors.
What?
And I'm not even joking, dude. He's not under arrest. He wasn't even asked to
And
leave.
took your phone.
We weren't asked to leave. Yes, he took my phone out of my hand.
Wow.
And put it in his pocket and stopped muscling us out. And then we're outside, and I'm all upset, right? And I'm like, I want my phone back. Right? And then Officer Hurley, sorry, I'm just going to call him Hurley.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hurley. And he, I was like, give me my phone back. And he goes, you want it? Go get it. So he threw my phone, underhanded, like a girl, threw it 40 feet into a memorial garden. Where it's like for fallen officers and firefighters. It's very disrespectful for him to do that. Just throw my phone first off, and it landed to a place that he's supposed to respect.
Right. Yeah.
And so I go over there. I'm trying to find my phone, and as I'm heading over there, I'm like, I want this guy arrested and all that stuff, right? And the cop's like, don't escalate this. I'm like, I'm not escalating anything. You guys stole from me and threw my shit, right? Well,
yeah. Let's hope that works.
all right. Oh.
But yeah.
And so I was just going out there and going to go get my stuff, and I was going through the garden and walking on the mulch there, and one of the officer that was behind the desk, he goes, "You're kicking flowers," under his breath, right?
Oh no.
And then I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not kicking flowers." And then the next thing you know, he's like, "You're under arrest," and they put me in cuffs. Now I'm in cuffs. Okay, Officer Hurley picks up my phone as he heads toward me, and he punches me in the chest while in cuffs.
Oh, jeez.
And puts the phone in my pocket. And then they proceeded to torture me with those cuffs. And they cranked them up behind, like, just kind of, I don't know if you guys can watch a video, they cranked them up so my wrists were going vertical, but my arms behind my back.
Make sure you get the nice marks in your wrists.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have nerve damage on it.
Jeez,
like I can't feel like half my thumb.
Wow.
Okay, and I thought I thought I broke skin and everything, but they put me in a holding cell. The funny thing is, though, guys, we were live streaming, right? So people knew that this was going on.
Yeah.
So thousands of people were calling into the station. They barricaded those doors. They put zip ties, the handcuff zip ties on the doors. They thought there was gonna be a riot. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? You think we're like that stupid? We're here to film as peaceful press, and you're gonna treat us like we're like terrorists or like a gang, and it's a joke. But anyways, I was charged with trespass and disorderly conduct. It's all very clear, guys. Very, very clear that we didn't do anything wrong, and that we were not asked to leave. We were muscled out, and I was looking for the phone that an officer told me to go get, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And they made up things in front of me, started and arrested me, and I was, even in cuffs, I was abused.
Man,
they had a hard time fighting this. I don't understand why this hasn't dropped yet, but it's still going.
That is so, sadly, it's typical, right? It's typical behavior of these types of people because they believe that they're absolved from morality and ethics. Mm-hmm. They believe that because they wear a specific costume, in this case a police badge and uniform, or a Hurley t-shirt for that matter, that they can act in a way that they would not act had they not had that sort of backing.
Now, Hurley, he's an aggressive guy. You can just see it in his face. You can see it in a lot of cops' faces. But specifically Hurley, you can see it. And I tell you, there's a reason why he was on desk duty.
I want to say something too, because I did the guitar playing in heavy metal bands in the West Coast in Seattle, Washington for a couple of decades. One of the cardinal sins, if you will, amongst the local bands, the local heavy metal and punk rock scene there was never wear your own band's t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
It's poor form. So for this guy to wear a t-shirt of his own last name while he's on desk duty, just something's a little off to me about that there anyway. And it sounds like the same sort of taboo applies to police as does
Sure.
to heavy metal bands.
It's wild, and they're not going to get away with this. At least the public knows about it.
Yeah, they should not get away with it, and we can talk much more about the jury selection if you like, and what sort of the next steps are when more here on Free Talk Live. Of course, this is the live Saturday night edition. More is on the way.
So sorry about that.
I just hope it worked.
How many would you get really in trouble?
It's supposed to be a 7-second delay, right? So I'm pretty sure I got to you within like 3 seconds. So if it's working properly, it should be okay. The thing is I'm not sure if it's working properly. Now, fortunately, we're like, and my shit, right? Like you kind of mix it. You didn't end the sentence with and shit, right? You know what I mean? So I think it'll be okay. I think the dumper worked because I saw it activate and I saw it go.
Did you get fined, or what's the deal?
Sometimes nothing. Sometimes Ian or Mark will get a call from the network or something like that. So
I don't know what they would call now.
Mark.
Oh.
Yeah, Mark's still around and take care of business. So
They'd be like,
yeah, just
hey Mark, what is this shit? We're not on the air right now, guys, but we are on Breaking the Flaw on YouTube, and I don't care. We can swear all the fuck we want.
Yeah. So when we're
Sorry.
on the air,
Yeah.
it's all right, man. Don't
I know
I've
it was
done
a Freudian slip. It was because I'm getting heated about talking about it.
I've done it, and that's exactly when it happens, when you get
Yeah.
impassioned and you're trying to put your feelings, your emotion into it, make the story as real as possible by telling how you feel. That's when it comes out, because those are emotional words.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
They say that when you swear, you more likely to mean it.
Wow. That means I must mean everything. Except for when I'm on the air.
This is super interesting.
Do you want to sit in until Vincent gets here?
Sure.
Okay.
Am I
He said he was going to be a half hour late.
Yeah, I know.
Is that ayahuasca?
Oh, no.
I'm kidding,
I
I
guys.
slept from sleep
It's already
deprivation.
45 minutes.
I know, it must have been a good date. What me and Calvin were saying.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, well, there it is.
No, here you go.
Are we live?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Well, I'm live
Well,
there.
we're on the YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on the YouTube.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna walk her back, and then we'll come back. Then I'll be back. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
late. I'll explain.
I can sit in.
How long? Half hour?
Yeah, half hour. Just I'm walking to campus and back. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
unprofessional of me.
You would need a car?
No, I'm good. No.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool.
It specifically needs to walk. I get it.
Yeah, so have a seat, Bonnie, if you want to be on.
Okay. But this is an interesting experience because it's Calvin coffee. He was like, do you have any kind of nuts? Just go choose your favorite nuts over there. So I found sunflower seeds in Ian's house. And I brought honey because I thought it seemed like it needed some kind of sweetness. Then it has turmeric, pepper,
That's the
and
cool
coffee.
turmeric.
Yeah, all blended together. And then he what's that
French
called?
press?
French pressed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's the best way to make coffee, in my
super
opinion.
weird. Like it's an interesting taste.
I like the French press. I have never owned one, and I'm probably not going to buy one.
I know. That's with me.
What I like to do is just have fresh beans, right? I keep whole beans in my freezer, and then in the morning I open the freezer, take the bag out, dump a bit into the grinder, grind my own fresh, put it in a little
wow,
Mr.
that's
Coffee
so
drip
frozen.
maker, and it's delicious.
When you freeze it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I picked up that tip from a girl I used to date in Seattle who was a manager of one of them, not a Starbucks, but like
Seattle's
a real, coffee, super fancy coffee place that, of course, Seattle,
Mm.
type.
I'm going to try it.
My friend Megan is like a girl like that, and she does like competitions where they do the pours like that are shaped like swans and
Yeah.
and stuff. She's so talented at everything she does.
Ah.
Somebody here?
Calvin.
Oh, okay.
Hey, coffee drinkers, either one of you guys?
Yes, please.
I am, but I will pass.
Okay.
I could use some, please. Thank you.
I added almond milk to mine because I thought it would make it more like coffee-ish.
Were you in?
Yeah, if I could get like cream and sugar,
Here we go,
possible.
guys.
Yesterday, yeah. Or the day before.
Give me a check.
Check, 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 check.
We'll see. back, everybody, to the Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live. It has been 4 of the more interesting days of my life since the terrorist attacks on the Free Talk Live studio and the Bitcoin Embassy. In the studio tonight, it's myself, and we've got somebody else sitting in.
It's funny.
And
Breaking the Flaw, Joa. You can call me Joa.
okay, Joa.
Yeah.
It's like Joe, but with an A.
It
Joa.
is.
Or is that like when people are stammering, like Joe?
No, it's like when little kids are getting in an argument with each other and they say no.
Oh, nice.
I've always hated that. Like for some reason that like grinds my gears in no other type of way.
It really grinds my gears.
It's actually an acronym. So JOA stands for Joint Operating Agreement, which is a consensual contract.
Oh, very nice. I'm very much into, folks contracting with each other or otherwise engaging in mutually beneficial agreements that are completely voluntary.
That's right.
And so this sounds like it's exactly that.
Well, actually, big corporations use it to have agreements amongst each other. So
Right.
it's not typically for the individual, but I like how it sounds. It sounds nice. Joint Operating Agreement.
Yes. And it makes for an interesting first name.
Thank you.
Indeed. So you were regaling us with this tale of your visit. You were doing some First Amendment auditing.
Yes.
And this Officer Hurley, who was wearing a T-shirt that said Hurley, decided to muscle you and your compatriot
Yes.
out, and then chucked your phone into a garden that was supposed to be for in memory of folks who have died, that type of a thing, and then eventually arrested you folks for
I
some.
like when he threw the phone at disturbed mulch.
Yeah. Well, no, that's another funny thing. So they said the guy said under his breath, "I was kicking flowers," right? As Hurley was coming up to me to punch me, he actually puts his whole foot across a whole stack of flowers. Like he totally destroyed flowers. That wasn't me. It was him.
So now he's destroying flowers. He's telling you that you were kicking flowers, and then he destroys flowers in the process of trying to keep you from kicking flowers.
Process of punching him.
Right.
Yes, because I deserved it. For actually, in the report, the only thing I actually did that was disorderly, or the garden would be trespassing, but the disorderly part, disturbing mulch, guys. Have you ever seen disturbing mulch as a charge before?
I mean,
I'm
I've seen.
disturbed, said the mulch.
Yeah, I've seen disturbing mulch in I don't know, a horror movie that's all about bad plant life and that kind of thing. Might be disturbing. Or I don't know, there's a serial killer and he grinds up the bodies that he's his victims and then turns that into mulch for his garden. That's disturbing mulch.
Right.
Right.
Well, I've seen mulch been disturbed before, it's all moldy or something, but that wasn't,
And I was just saying, when the phone landed on the ground, it probably disturbed mulch.
Yeah.
I bet
Sure.
it was disturbed and
He told me to go get it, so
traumatized.
he was ordering me to go get it, so he was ordering me to go
Right.
step on this mulch.
If you didn't go get it, he'd have been like, you didn't follow an order or whatever.
For real,
right?
they
Yeah.
could have arrested me or something.
Right.
And
Yeah.
just so everybody listening understands, Joe could spend a year in jail over this.
That's right.
This
Yep.
isn't. This
There's
is
no joke.
This is just what the tyrants want to or will do to get people into jail. Sorry, I have been so sleep deprived.
Yeah, we've all had a pretty interesting week
I have
around
coffee,
here.
So.
So jury selection is coming up when?
So March 25th, I have jury selection. There's an update on this. I got a call from my lawyer, and he said that I won't need to be there. We're not gonna have jury selection. It's gonna be pushed another 3 months. This has already been pushed too far, because they my first court date after my pretrial was 1 week into this whole COVID pandemic.
Yep.
Okay. So everything just kept them pushing. I actually showed up to the court at that one, and they wouldn't let me in the court. I'm like, look, I got court. I gotta get in. And they're like, nope, we're not letting you in. I was like, they didn't even tell me why. I finally calling my lawyer scrambling, hey, I missed my court. And he's like, no, I was on Zoom for you. Oh, thanks for telling me. So I I had to wait a few months and another Zoom meeting, and I guess I'm gonna have another Zoom meeting. And my lawyer now has said that even when they push this 3 months, this likely we're going to be pushed again. But it's that one is going to be the definitive one that we get chosen to actually go in person for a jury selection.
Oh, okay.
So this is just getting pushed and pushed. I tell you what, if it gets pushed past the what do you call it? Statute of limitations.
Yes.
We're gonna have a problem
Yeah.
because I can't do anything. I could file a complaint early, but that doesn't mean anything. I have to be able to file paperwork. So if this is the game they're trying to play, I hope I might set precedent after statute of limitations to file a lawsuit.
Yeah, or at least get the whole thing dismissed.
Well, it should have already been dismissed.
Yeah.
We've already challenged the facts of was there probable cause established,
Okay.
and a judge said, I guess there is. I'm curious to what he thought was probable cause.
Wow.
I guess.
Wow. Yeah, I'm curious too.
I can only see that like maybe a loud voice because I was maybe a little loud could disturb the neighbors. But it's literally right next to a highway. That's all it is. It's a highway. So.
And it doesn't matter when they get loud at you. Like the video I was watching of the penguin today, trying to film the raid. They were screaming at him like, "Get back!" He's just an innocent guy that isn't even part of the house or anything, and they can disturb him. You know what I mean? And they were pushing him. He was like, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" I'm
Wow.
so like shocked by how brave Penguin is with cops sometimes.
Yeah, he certainly knows that he has the right to stand up to them and tell them what he thinks of them, and kudos to him for that.
Yeah, but they don't. What I was just trying to get at was they can yell at you, they can disturb the peace all they want.
Oh, yeah.
If Joe is mad because his property got thrown.
It's okay when they do it. They're the government.
Yeah.
It's always okay when they do it. They've been given the special badge or the special costume, or they've been elected to their position, or they've been otherwise appointed by somebody elected to their position, and so now they're absolved of basic human decency when it comes to interacting with other people, because they're on the other side of it now.
Well, Lysander Spooner said something like, if you went up to like the government and told them like, I hired you to do these evil things, he would say, like, I'm not, like, you never hired me. I don't have your name written down as voting for me. And if you did vote for me, like, you're voting for me to do evil things, so you're a bad person, something like that.
Yep.
And
No, that's excellent
no
paraphrasing.
treason.
Yes, Lysander Spooner, if you listeners are not familiar, is one of the better writers on the topic of statelessness, so feel free to check him out. So, if this thing happens, what would be the next step after jury selection?
Well, it's gonna go to trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, obviously you're not taking a plea deal or anything like that.
No.
I assume they haven't offered anything.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're like, we'll cut it down to a fine if you just sign this paperwork. Because
I would like to think that once this goes to court and the facts of the case are presented to that judge, that judge is gonna be like, well, what are we doing here? I think that's what he's gonna think. I don't know what judge signed off this in the first place. Probably connected. It's Worcester. What's that?
Yeah, or it's the cop's brother or something,
Sure.
Who knows? There's probably some nepotism at play or something along those lines.
Mhm.
It's hard to tell. These things, we've seen that here in New Hampshire too, where the governor's brother passed some legislation, or his brother-in-law, I'm not sure, passed some legislation to limit the ability to protest outside the governor's house several weeks after, the protests happened. So, yeah, do you think that was a coincidence?
No.
I don't. I'm sure it was, hey, buddy, can you pass some legislation? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, nod, nod. Oh, yeah, I think I can, actually. Nobody will ever know that we had this conversation. So, it's going to be interesting. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. No, I think I have a good case. I mean,
and it's all on video, right? So you've got plenty of evidence.
Actually, I'll tell you this. I'm not even submitting my own video.
Really?
Yeah. I'm using their evidence against them.
Wow.
Their own footage.
I remember he said that the whole town came to protest against what they had done to him. Like, nobody thinks that this is right. Not even nobody.
Not even nobody. Well, nobody's not here to comment, but hopefully we'll see nobody again sometime soon. Hour number 2 is on the way, where we will talk more about, we'll talk about a protest that happened here in Keene today. More Free Talk Live coming up.
I was trying to find a segue into my current things, but that's all right.
I want to just make note of your case. Keep track of the due process violations as far as surpassing statute of limitations and any other due process violations, because rest assured, the prosecutor is going to make many of them. And that's
They already tried to get me. They already tried to get me. So I didn't talk about this, but I went to go for my arraignment.
This can be on your stream, so.
I know. This is out. I already talked about it publicly. Everything about the case is pretty much public. But I went to my arraignment. They only brought up one charge.
Oh.
They only brought up I forget which one. I think they brought up the disorderly conduct charge, but they didn't bring up the trespass charge. The judge. So I was like, and he's like, just they pushed me out of the courtroom, like just get him through, try to get the charges and like have him talk, and they didn't even let me say anything because arraignment, right?
Right.
And then I was like, this isn't right. This
not
isn't right.
Actually, you usually do get a chance to say a few things in arraignment, but that's wrong that they did what they did.
Right. I did say like I was like, that's it. That's all that's here today. And they're like, yep, that's it. That's all we got. I was like, this isn't right. So I did say that, and then I went downstairs to the clerk, and I was like, hey, I think there's multiple charges on me. I think you want to check this out before I leave this courtroom and then get thrown in jail for 120 days for a bench warrant. And sure enough, they found it. And then I went to the court. I went back up to the court. They called me up again. They took care of it. But if I didn't do that, they'd been worse. I walked out of the court. I had a lawyer come and talk to me. He's like, they pull that all the time.
Good on you for being on top of that. Then anticipating that, because if you hadn't, then they would have put.
This would have destroyed my whole case, because I'm in jail for 120 days. From all my other court business.
Let me ask you briefly while we're on break. What does your defense strategy look like? Like, I mean, you're asking for a court date, right? Not guilty. Yeah. So how do you plan on defending yourself?
I might be taking a stand.
And just testifying.
No, actually, no. I don't. No. Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not. That we'll see if we think we need to do that. Okay. But I don't think so. I think we're just gonna let them try to prove it.
Okay, and that's good. That's a good position to start from, because prosecution has the burden to prove, not you.
And we're going to question the shit out of the officers.
Let me remind you of another principle in courtroom, is that issues of fact are much stronger than issues of law. So when you're making your arguments, try to stick to citing facts instead of citing law.
Right.
Because it can be interpreted any which way. But if you stick to facts, either they're there or they're not.
Look, he stole my phone. Took my phone. Threw it and told me to go get it.
Right.
Said I was, trespassing in the garden when I was told to go get it. So they contradicted.
Right.
And then I was punched while in cuffs. That's not part of the case, though.
Hey, quit hitting yourself. They're pretty much forcing you into the situation.
Right. The punch isn't part of my arrest. It's not. That's not what I'm being charged with.
Right.
What? Taking a blow from a punch?
Not the paperwork, but it is part of the arrest. It happens,
yes, it's going to be shown in court.
Right.
And the facts are going to be presented.
And isn't that interesting? What is left out of these reports is the most abusive parts of the police.
The point is like in the report, it says that he tried to go to his knees because they were torturing me, and I was in so much pain I could barely stand.
That sounds like fiction.
No, it's true. I almost went to my knees.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's all in the video, dude. They were cranking it up. My arms were coming up behind my back. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had everything, like, all freaking leverage. 2 guys. And, like, I was almost going to my knees, but they were pulling me up enough that I could keep my tippy toes going on the ground. It was fucking bullshit.
The last throes of an empire. That's what it seems like to me. That type of abuse, because it's uncalled for, it's unnecessary. They need money that fucking bad. Well, I love this coffee.
It's 1983 is what it is.
This coffee is good. Was it spicy to you? Because the first sip I took was spicy.
Yeah, the first sip was good.
Your eyes were watering.
Were they?
Well, I thought that you had something spicy because your eyes looked red.
I'm gonna have to remember to come over here.
How do you like that coffee, by the way?
Yeah. 4 o'clock.
You know what's in that? Black pepper.
Maybe I'll be over here before then. Anyway,
cacao powder, cinnamon.
I forgot to hit record.
And some honey. And some sunflower
seeds. And then I remembered about one Vincent left.
It's pretty good. like
that's
my
what
cat.
So I did.
You
So
can
why
taste them at the end
4
there.
o'clock?
Yeah,
So
so
oil.
it's
This-
pretty rich taste. Yeah,
I like it.
One of
So-
these machines
Your own invention?
records
yeah,
and
my own little
replays
recipe.
the
I've
show,
dialed it in over the
I
years.
believe
I'm
it's
very proud
supposed
of
to
it.
be
Yeah.
Did you use any of the
LRN
almond milk, by the way?
Literally.
which is
Okay,
currently
you're
not
done with
working.
it.
Yes,
I want to put it back.
If
in.
he
So-
goes back tomorrow, he could probably help
I was
you.
impressed you know your Lysandra Spooner, by the way. What the fuck?
She was part of YAFL, the Young Americans for Liberty.
They were fucking
Gal.
Republicans. I wasn't
Oh, I
even really
didn't.
part
I'm not
of them.
familiar with that
They're an organization that, well, as she likes to say, is comprised of young people who are
Republicans.
mostly really Republicans.
It was
Yeah.
spurred up from the Ron Paul movement.
Yeah,
Yeah, but now
Understandable.
it's
yeah.
a spurring against.
But
the-
like
know.
Matthew Santomassano, who
Fantastic.
campaigned this year,
yeah.
YAFL campaigned for him.
Yeah.
Like they went door knocking and
I
stuff
like
for
got
him.
him voted for. I think. I like actually did my job whenever it was him, only because Ian told me that he knew him. I was like, okay, I'll do my job. I fucking hate y'all. It's awful. And all of them were Republicans. Like, they told us to introduce ourselves by saying things we believe in, and I was like, I believe in open borders, and I don't believe that the Constitution is a binding contract. And everybody was just like, are you a liberal? Like, literally.
How does that make you a liberal?
Nobody, like, was okay with that.
God,
Except,
I get
except,
called
Because it's
liberal
not
all
what
the
we
time.
conservatives think.
except what's his name? Daniel Rothschild. I think you met him. He's friends with Colin. He was in my little group, and he went like, yes.
Okay.
Nobody
Okay.
really likes him because he's like really like hard to get along with. He's from New York City, and he's like crazy, but he's funny.
What you pointed out about the cops making or
Look here.
being part of the charges that they're accusing their victims of doing is also known internally. And Captain might remember this as a status double standard. It's basically, the double standard where if you do it, it's wrong, but if the state does it, it's okay.
Right.
They
You
do
know.
it all the time, constantly.
So it's I like when people point. Anytime there's a double standard, I always think that ought to be highlighted because
Because people can
obviously it's
easily
correcting.
just see that. Like people can be like, oh, that's not right.
And oftentimes you just get blown by two people ignore them, and that's when they get out of control, like the
It just
cops.
seems normal because it's normalized.
Yeah, exactly. No one bats an eye at police creating double standards, but if you did it to them, they would feel it.
One of the key things to auditing is not to go out there thinking don't break the law. Go out there thinking how will a jury look at this?
Oh wow.
That's how you got to do it now because the cops can make up anything they want.
Right.
So let's make sure that you have yourself in check when the cops make up whatever they want.
Right.
It's really it comes down to. Ultimate authority comes down from the people, the pressure from your peers, So we'll see.
That's the first time I've heard of that perspective too. Is how is a jury gonna think about this?
Always.
But that is interesting, yeah. Because the cop is gonna lie, and if you get a bench trial too, the judge usually sides with the prosecution and the cop. So your jury is your best option as far as
Government has
figure out-
twisted the game, right? That you have to prove your innocence.
Well,
That's what they've
right.
they've twisted
Oh
the
yeah,
game that
big
way.
time, big time.
You're not presumed
We're coming back. guys.
innocent.
You are in the right place to listen to the Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you may be, perhaps you are in another country, perhaps you are overseas listening to one of the satellite channels, perhaps.
I don't think that the satellites are up, right?
Oh, yeah, they're right. Well, wherever you are, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. In the studio tonight, it is myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, joining me.
It's Bonnie.
Breaking the flaw.
And we've been talking about your case, Joa, where you were definitely manhandled by the man and what may happen there. I wanted to talk a little bit about the protest here in Keene that happened today at 1:15 until about 2:15 or so. That happened actually at the Keene Police Department. What was this for, Bonnie?
It was to protest the Keene Police Department cooperating with the FBI on the raid at my house and also on the Mighty Moose Mart and Ari's house.
So the terrorist attack of March 16th.
Yeah, our police officers who were here to protect and serve decided to cooperate with terrorist organizations and attack my house and myself and my dog and my boyfriend and kidnap my boyfriend and nobody from my house.
Along with 4 other people.
Yeah.
We call these people the Crypto Six. And if you would like to help the Crypto Six Legal Defense Fund, please go to thecrypto6.com. That's the crypto and then the numeral 6, the number 6.com. Thecrypto6.com. That is the official fundraising website for the legal defense for the folks who were arrested as a result of these terroristic behaviors by the organization known as government.
So that's why we had the protest today. And when I got there today, you showed up after I left, right?
No, you were inside when I showed up, yeah. And then, so I waited around and, I saw when you came out and left, we didn't have a chance to connect. I was talking to some other folks. There was one counter protester who showed up late, and he was...
The psychopath.
Yeah.
Well,
You know him.
yeah. Well, you can see him in my maskless flash mob over in Keene the other day or last week, and I'm going to just describe what happened then and not what happened today, because there's obviously something wrong in the head. So I don't want to go too deep into that, because I don't want people to criticize him for that. But I tell you, he had a roll of quarters in his hand, fisting up and ready to punch someone in the face for not wearing a mask.
And he was wearing 2 masks.
He was wearing a face shield that had the words "face shield" on it.
So it was a face shield.
And I thought, well, that's just in case he confuses it with a butt shield or, a shoulder shield or I don't know.
Why don't we have butt shields? We could be cross-contaminating the air.
Well, the Chinese are already doing the swabs and the woohoo. So,
well, I tell you what, if you can smell it, your mask ain't working.
Whoever smelt it, dealt it. We digress here on Free Talk Live.
We're from the 80s.
Well, one of us is anyway. At any rate, again, if you want to donate to the Crypto Six, visit thecrypto6.com. The protest, I think, met with little fanfare. I was told that there were some press there, though.
Yeah, there was. I was there, but I don't know. Was the Sentinel was there?
The Slantinel is what we refer.
Slantinel.
Yeah.
Dave Ridley was there, and he interviewed me. So thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he managed to get a cameo from myself.
And Shire Free Media was there as well.
Oh, nice.
Yep. But Bonnie, why were you inside? Can you tell us why? Or maybe
I went inside because I was talking with some people outside, trying to ask them for advice on what I could do, because during the raid, I wanted to complain about this guy who he had to lead me upstairs and get me into my room so I could get dressed, because I was basically naked the entire raid outside in the cold. And instead of this is one thing I should have added into the report or into the complaint, but instead of it just didn't make sense that he didn't ask for a female officer to come with us right away. He led me up into the room and was just making me stand there in handcuffs, and he was just talking to me for a while. And he asked me, he was just flirting with me. He made jokes with me while I'm in handcuffs. I had these really big shoes on. Well, I had Ian's shoes on, and they were way too big for me. And they were filled with glass, and I told him, I can't walk very fast because these shoes are too big, so, he wouldn't get mad at me for not, being pushed along, And he was just oh, I thought they look like they were too small for you. And the thing is, I don't have to have, a specific word said to me to know what I'm being flirted with. Right. I'm a woman, and also just, whenever you make a comment about someone's size and age, and you're bigger and older than them, it's just, and they're in handcuffs, it's inappropriate. Yeah. When not every single time. There's a time and place for everything, but that was not the time and place. So I went ahead and wrote a sexual harassment report about the guy, and couldn't figure out his name because the supervisor there wouldn't give any information. He just claimed ignorance. So I just described the situation.
Well, I would say the supervisor should also receive a complaint. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
If he knew that these things were going on, it's the action to, hold the supervisor accountable too.
We're going to the city hall or something. Somebody will help me remember Monday to get a FOIA request, and then we'll find out who he was.
Oh, I see. Yes. Well, good luck with that. And, I'm sure we'll ask you for an update on that later. We have been talking about the Crypto 6, and of course, we here at Free Talk Live are fans of cryptocurrency in general. And I wanted to tell you about AnyPayX.com. Everybody's always talking about buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. And sometimes that's boring as hell. But how about earning some Bitcoin? That's the way. You want to get paid with it because it is money after all. If you want to earn Bitcoin at your business, AnyPayX.com is the way to do it. Your customers will love it. Everyone in town will talk about your store being the Bitcoin store. And it's just plain fun. You can get the free app and start earning Bitcoin at your business right now. Visit AnyPayX.com. So much is wrong with the whole, the raid on the Free Talk Live studios and the Mighty Moose Smart and the Bitcoin Embassy and the house next door, that it's just sort of overwhelming to me to think that in a town of 23,000 people that they would need all these different multiple agencies, a Bearcat, a drone. Two?
There was two.
Where did they get the second
I
one?
don't know, but this is what Penguin told me today.
Statement.
Wow.
And I know there was one on my side, and then at the same time there was one on that side breaking open the window. So there was two.
And this house has had this type of activity prior, except with much less damage because they came and they knocked on the door the first time. There was no need for all this damage. This is definitely them making a statement. This is not about them trying to do the right thing or have basic decent human decency.
Yeah, thanks, but no tanks.
You just
Right.
made like a Freudian slip. You said basic demon. Yeah, they have demon decency.
they certainly do. And the whole bit with a guy flirting with you while you're in handcuffs.
In
I mean,
the
like,
room of me and my boyfriend that was just kidnapped.
that's just sick. And that's the mentality that these people have, right? They get into these positions and they feel powerful because, well, they kind of are. Because most people just go ahead and obey them and they get used to that. And that becomes a drug to them. That's their adrenaline kicking in.
Oh, that reminds me of the story that 2 days ago, I got really crazy. These sovereign citizens leaving a prison, thinking they don't have to stop at stop signs. But you know what? We were filming. They called the police on us for filming.
Yeah.
And we script flipped them.
Nice.
Yeah. And we made sure that those cops pulled over every single one of those public servants rolling through those stop signs. Some of them didn't even slow down. They just sped up as they going through those stop signs. And the cops pulled over about 8 people that were leaving there. Lights on, pulling them over.
That's so good.
Yeah, I think most people have witnessed a cop at some point turning its lights on and sirens just to get through a red light. It's not that
I
uncommon.
got one last night.
More Free Talk Live is on the way. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. What the fuck? I'm never supposed to say stay tuned. I just said stay tuned.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what?
Ian told you not to, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
When I edit the audios, Captain, there's a thing where I listen to the last few sentences or last few words of every segment, and it's interesting what you'll notice about people's speech patterns when you hear you basically say the same thing, like same 2 statements basically
I know.
after
I
every
have my
segment,
note over
and I do
already.
too. Everyone does really.
Yeah.
And it takes some work to overcome that, but
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
what
I'm aware of it.
and that's how the cookie crumbles. That's a good one.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, just throw some
And that's
notes
how
in there.
space travel is possible today.
Right.
I know. Like, I want to say, like, weird, zany things before we go to commercial, right? You know what I mean? And, like, it's my desire. It's just getting myself to actually perform that action.
Let me give
when
you
the
some
time is
inspiration. Proof that words extend beyond their meaning. Else, what is a metaphor?
Wait, say that again?
Proof that words extend beyond their meaning. Else, or maybe I'm saying that wrong.
What is
I
a
feel like
I'm in
a dream right now.
metaphor?
Yeah, the proof that words. There is proof that words extend beyond their meanings. Else, what is a metaphor? I might be butchering that a little bit, but essentially that's what it is.
I just
Yeah.
can't follow
So anyway,
something like
the
that,
thing is maybe just think metaphors for whatever you're trying to say at the time.
Oh, I thought you were telling him to say that at the end. I was like, that's gonna confuse people.
Oh, that will confuse
Oh, yeah.
people, but
Made
you know,
me think, though. I
he's
said
right
that
getting
one.
at it. Just make up some zany thing and just metaphorically throw it in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I have all sorts of these things. The deal is that it's far easier for me to do that when I'm high
yes, yeah.
than when I'm sober.
Well, we can fix
However, when I'm high, I
What's
tend
up,
to
Eric
cuss.
Brandt?
that. Yeah.
Welcome
It's more
in. All
difficult for me not
caps,
to
no
cuss when
bullshit.
I'm high.
Garden Earth guy.
So I don't know how to balance those two things out.
Let's experiment in the last segment. See if we can find a medium.
Yeah. Picking this up reminds you guys we're still alive.
Yeah, well, it's
This
too
is
late
legal.
now.
It's legal. That's legal.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Delta 8. Yeah.
So is the other one that actually gets me.
Delta 8.
Yeah, we got Delta 8 right here.
I'm pursuing my happiness. It's all legal.
That's the Declaration of Independence, though.
Look,
Right?
guys, I'm about to create a whole bunch of no victims.
Quick, stop this man.
What
People
did you
might
just say?
contagiously
What did you-
contract fun,
right before he said
enjoy,
something?
and
Talking
happiness.
about Delta 8. He said something, I was going to say something, and I can't remember what it was. Oh well, never mind.
It's legal. It's
How
legal.
great it is that it doesn't get you too high, but just high enough. Oh.
No, something,
This college.
something completely different.
I think you have some Delta 9 in your brain right now.
No, but that's probably the problem is that I don't.
Oh, baby.
Where is
Ah, Delta
Fancy.
deficient.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm suffering from a Delta 8 deficiency.
Your cannabinoid receptors are hungry.
Mm.
That's a
Oh
problem.
my God, nobody taught me about that, how like if you just switch up any type of weed, even if you smoked it before, we haven't smoked it in a while, and you switch up on a different one, you'll get so fucking high. And I was just like, one time he was sitting there and he was smoking me out, talking to me, and have you been to Robot World, where that's what nobody calls it, where people are moving like this?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what was happening to me while
Wow.
nobody was talking to
Robot
me.
world.
I
Whoa.
couldn't believe how high I was.
You know what's funny though is nobody does that naturally too. He is a very jittery talker. Like his hand move, he's
Oh,
like
he's,
kind of
he has
This
this
was
lean
not
thing that he
that. This
does.
was-
yeah.
Reminds me of the
That is
gopher from
so
Caddyshack.
true.
Yeah.
he does. Yes, that's exactly.
So that's not all in your head is what I'm getting at. Some of that is actually him just being animated.
Well,
He's
he knew exactly what I was talking about. It's Robot World. I just like it was like every couple seconds was a frozen frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or not even a couple
No,
seconds. like
I
half
do know
a
what you mean.
second.
It's been
Yeah.
a long time since I've been to Robot World.
Yeah,
Did you
I
listen to
have
getting
I have one
I did.
in
Ah,
high
that
school.
sucks.
This thing records
thing
and
that's
plays
going.
it back though, but I can come in tomorrow and get the first part of it, so the rebroadcast will be late.
Oh.
Okay. I was wondering.
Since-
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yes, welcome back to the program. It is Free Talk Live. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are a cobbled together live radio talk program from the perspective of freedom. We're cobbled together because of the terrorist attacks of March 16th, 2021, here in Keene, New Hampshire. That was when the government decided to raid the Free Talk Live studio, as well as the Mighty Moose Mart, the Bitcoin Embassy, and another location, as well as several folks. They paid a visit to their homes and arrested them, and they also decided to straight up steal several Bitcoin ATMs from around the New Hampshire area. So we do have some technical problems that we are still working through as a result of some of the gear being stolen, some of the damage that has been done. We've had to bypass systems. We've got things stapled that used to be permanent and that kind of a thing. So bear with us as we restore this show to its former glory. We've been talking about all sorts of fun things today, and we're
Can I
gonna.
actually add something from the last
Yes,
segment?
please.
I just wanted to say, but we started getting the music. One of the things that was really annoying about the cop like flirting with me is like usually if a cop even talks to me at all, I look at them like they're freaking insane, and I'm just like I'll say like don't talk to me like that. I do that all the time in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Like if a cop is like just standing outside of a Walmart and he talks to me, if you don't have a reason to talk to me, I'll tell them don't talk to me, and they usually just look flabbergasted. I don't talk to cops. and I don't like cops, and I don't like make friends with cops. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't talk to police is the best advice I can give anybody. I'm not an attorney, but I have never, ever heard of a case where somebody, an attorney reviews a case and goes, you know what? If you'd have just talked to the police, you'd have gotten off of that.
No.
Well,
I've never heard of that case.
I talk to the police all the time.
But I mean, like
Normal
I'm
people
talking
when you get pulled over, stuff like that,
Oh, you mean like last night?
I do mean like last night.
Wait,
I got
hold
pulled
on.
over last night.
Hang on, let her finish.
I just
Okay,
wanted to
sorry.
get to the
Yeah,
point.
sorry.
So like, but it was just so annoying because I think he knew that one, I wanted to get dressed, and I had to wait for him to get someone to get there for me to get dressed. And second of all, he knew I wanted to leave, and third of all, he knew I wanted to get coconut. So it was just annoying. I just had to be nice with him. Like he was like, "How old are you?"
Coconut
And I
being
had
your dog, just for
Oh
the
yeah,
listeners
sorry,
who don't know.
my dog. Yeah. So yeah, I had to just be like, "Oh, I'm 24," and it's just a messed up situation. That's all I have to say. Like I hate cops.
So you're basically saying that they would have thrown the bouquet, would made further charges, and made things more difficult for you.
If I was like, not being nice, like I'm being coerced into just being like friendly with somebody that is honestly to God my enemy, like literally. Like when I was last parked in a government area in San Antonio, I was just parked next to a cop car, but I was looking at the ground for my number because you have to pay. And when he saw me like looking under my car for my number, he went past and was like, "Did you hit my car or something?" But he was like making a joke, and I was like, "No." And he was just like, "I'm just joking with you." And I said, "Don't talk to me."
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, this is some of the least professional policing I've heard of. I mean, just the actions of the raid in and of themselves, but then once they're in and they're talking to you, I don't know, somebody.
Like this is all just like one big, this is just another day for everyone, and we got to get through this. No, like I honestly, legitimately didn't know what the next day of my life is gonna look like. My best friend and boyfriend was missing. I was in a state of shock and panic, and also I needed to know where my dog was. My dog doesn't like cars,
Right.
and he was stuck in a car with lunatics,
Yep.
strangers. He doesn't like strangers, and he didn't like people the rest of the morning.
Yes, a traumatic experience, and it will probably take you some time to fully recover. But we were going to mention something about last night, Joe.
Yeah.
What happened last night?
Well, we were listening to the radio scanners.
Did you
in
talk to police
Manchester.
last night?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
several times.
You listened to a scanner, and then what happened?
So we listened to the scanner in Manchester, New Hampshire, and we heard a call concerning the Goffstown police to look out for a car with California plates. They're high on Klonopins and they threaten to kill people. So they said they were on their way from Manchester back home.
Wow, how do you drive high on quad pins? That sounds hard.
Well, that sounds crazy. So we want to be on that. That sounds interesting.
Okay.
So we drove over to where they said that the person lived on the. So we started driving that way. We saw, 3 cruisers. I think we saw maybe 4. And we drove around again. We head back. We wanted to park and wait and see if they could get this guy.
Yeah.
So the next thing that happens is as I'm driving back home the second time, coming back the other way, lo and behold, they pull out, speed up behind me, flick those lights on, and they walk up to my car. And I'm like, holy cow, guys. This is going to be interesting because I haven't done anything wrong.
Right.
And he comes up to my window and he goes, license and registration. And I was like, what have you pulled me over for? And he's like, well, we have you driving around the neighborhood.
We have you
Okay.
here driving.
Is that probable cause, sir, to pull me over? And he's like, well, it's suspicious. It's suspicious of crime. It's like, I get it. We're kind of weird. We're driving around neighborhoods looking for cops. It's not a typical thing, but we're making it more normal every day.
Yeah.
It's not legal and it's making people more safe.
Yeah, I'm surprised that these, New Hampshire cops haven't caught on to what we do by now and haven't, fortunately, they haven't put a memo out about us because we requested that and it doesn't exist.
Right.
So,
well, they say it doesn't exist.
yeah, so we ended up, leaving and we kind of pulled over and tried to say a word and went back to the station and we filed complaints with the lieutenant.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's how it goes down, but this is bad. They can't just pull you over for nothing.
Oh, they can, and they do all the
Right,
time.
that's illegal. They're breaking the law.
I mean, some would say the whole existence of government is illegal.
Immoral.
It certainly is, and
But-
unethical.
But when you say things are legal or illegal, that's all government talk anyways.
That's true. That is true. Speaking of things that are legal or illegal, we all know that the government's reaction or overreaction to COVID has created some interesting times, particularly for people who were employed or people who own businesses or used to own businesses, depending on the state of their business. This from mlive.com. Michigan restaurant owner to remain in jail on charge of violating COVID-19 orders. Using very stern language, a judge ordered a West Michigan restaurant owner accused of violating multiple court orders to remain in jail, likely for several days, until it's apparent she does not intend to reopen her business. Behind bars in Ingham County is Marlena Pavlos Hackney, the owner of Marlena's Bistro and Pizzeria in Holland, Michigan, which remained open in defiance of warnings and cease and desist orders because of her refusal to comply with state requirements intended to curb the spread of COVID-19.
That's crazy.
She was arrested by Michigan State Police early Friday, March 19th, after she failed to turn herself in on a bench warrant issued earlier this month. We'll tell you more about Marlena's story, and we'll try to figure out the difference between a duck. More Free Talk Live is coming up.
Hey,
That's a good sign off.
The difference between a duck.
What does that mean?
There you go.
I don't
I
get it.
like it.
I've been holding on to that one for years.
What
man.
does that
For
mean?
years. It's so, like, sometimes when you're getting intoxicated with your friends, you just want to fuck with them a little bit, right? And you just want to, like, so you're like, dude, what's the difference between a duck? And you just see their brains go, most people will eventually come around and be like, a duck and what? Like, just what's the difference between a duck? I don't know. And then you got to answer something, right? Because otherwise you look like you're just asking a dumb question. So you invent something like, well, one leg is both the same.
That's so my kind of humor, messing with my siblings. I'm always just telling my sister like lies for no reason, just to see her reaction, and I'm like, Elizabeth, I'm lying, duh. It's just so funny. I don't know why.
Howard the Duck comes to mind.
Howard the Duck?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have.
It'll trip your ass out.
Mm-mm.
You're like, how did this even get made? But then also be happy that it was made.
Wait, one of my theories about why nobody is still in jail.
Let's hear it.
They keep asking him who he is, and he says nobody.
Hey, who's in that cell over there? Nobody.
Could
You know
could
what?
you imagine they really did throw this like he's literally saying nobody, and then what do they do? Another 30 days.
Oh
Well,
my
I'll tell you
God.
what, nobody does play that game with his name, so it would stand to reason they would play the same game with his name back at him just to
Yeah.
fuck with him.
I could see a vicious circle happening.
Well, you
Yeah.
couldn't get the automated thing to answer you
That's
about his
one
name.
part, yeah.
They wouldn't.
There was no way to
what
get a
I'm
hold of
trying
him,
to
and
say.
maybe by design,
Yeah.
like you were saying.
He doesn't have
It
a
would
last
be
name.
funny if they did, like, eventually program it in, so when you called the little telephone system, like, please enter the first few letters of your party's name. N-O-B.
No.
Press 2 for nobody. You press 2 and it hangs up on you.
Like, let's just say
Oh
they
my
let's just
God.
say they took him out of his cell and put him somewhere else. And you're like, hey, is anybody in there? And they're like, no, nobody's in there. Yeah, I can see
Yep.
this is his legal name that there could be all these complications in the system. He's fucking with it.
Well,
the Matrix
even-
is breaking with him in there.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
put it that way.
He's just, by the virtue of having the name nobody, is creating all those situations. And not even just the bureaucratic situations, but the human situations.
Oh yeah, he's
You know
having
what I
difficult
mean?
with it. He was like, didn't he say he wanted to change his name back? I mean,
Yeah.
He did, but then he's like, well, I guess I'll leave it for the next election or what.
I
you know,
suggest you change it
Yeah,
back.
so I mean, you don't see me changing my name to nobody. So like, I mean, I can't say what a guy should or shouldn't do. It's totally up to him. I have thoroughly enjoyed his name change
Yes,
as a
yes.
human being. I have thoroughly enjoyed his name change. I have gotten so many like, semi knee slapper, dad joke type situations out of him changing his name to nobody that I will be forever grateful that he did change his name to nobody because of that.
I love it.
like legally, he won't have to tell. He doesn't have to tell them what his birthday was, right? Like, I mean, if you met
No, yeah. If he has to identify himself, he can legally say nobody, and he's not in violation of anything.
Somebody was trolling me on Twitter, and they were like, "Your boyfriend's gonna have to change his last name because he ain't free, man." And I just said like,
Derp, derp, derp.
Good,
so
good
stupid.
joke.
I was just like, we change our names whenever we want to. Nobody has to choose any name they want, but nobody chooses. I don't know, something. I said something like that back to him.
I love the excuse that the trolls say that, like, oh, there's such criminals that they have to make pseudonyms for themselves. Like, well, guys, you know my name, and I don't get offended, so
Right.
whatever. Like,
Yeah, honestly, nobody knows my name.
I know your name.
My name is Bonnie Diaz.
oh, now we know.
Oh,
Yeah, you're live.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's on public record now, right?
It's on public record.
Don't worry, folks all know. Oh, I gotta listen for this silence here.
Oh, that's so weird.
Here we go.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. That was an awkward silence, at least in the studio. Hopefully that's not going out to broadcast, but if it is, it seems to be less than a second. Hopefully they can tolerate that.
It's gonna be so awkward in people's cars.
Yeah. Hey, where did it go? That's our silent tribute to the Crypto 6. That's what that is.
I like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is Free Talk Live, in case you're wondering who's talking over the intro music there, which, it's us here in the studio. It's myself, the captain.
It's Bonnie.
And breaking the flaw.
For years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping build one. Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for your community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network to it, so you can connect and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action over at Liberty.menu. You can use code FTL to get a special badge. That's Liberty.menu. We've been talking about this article from mlive.com about a restaurant owner who has refused, Marlena Pavlos Hackney, who has refused to close a restaurant despite the orders from the government claiming, they claim, oh, COVID-19, you got to shut your restaurant down, wear masks and all that stuff. And she said no. She was arrested early Friday, March 19th, after she failed to turn herself in on a bench warrant issued earlier this month. The warrant charged her with contempt of a court order to close her restaurant, which continued to operate after the license was suspended. They suspended their business license.
What was the name of the gang of the lunatics that think that they own the smaller part of the part they call the United States in the place that she lives? What state was she in?
This is Michigan, and she was arrested by Michigan State Police. So, Ingham County Circuit Judge Rosemary E. Aquilina at the arraignment Friday afternoon said Pavlos Hackney would be released only after she paid $7,500 in fines, and the Michigan Attorney General's office was satisfied that the restaurant would remain closed until the court matter is resolved. Now, she kept her business open, and now they're extorting her for money. Well, in order for her to have money, she has to have some income. In order for her to have some income, she either has to be an employee or own a business.
Are you an economist?
I'm
Pretty
just
smart.
walking through the logic here. So anyway, they want to extort money from her even though they want her business closed.
I think that in cases like this, when they make impossible ways for you to get out of jail, it's that they're making an example out of you.
Oh, absolutely. They also won't let her out. So even if she pays the $7,500, they still won't let her out until they're satisfied the restaurant will remain closed until the court matter is resolved.
I think she should just keep saying no.
So that's what I think, right? I mean, what would you do if I were her? I'd be hurling a middle finger and be like, nope. But let's find out what she did. We're in the midst of a pandemic. You have selfishly not followed orders, Aquilina told Pavlos Hackney. You've not followed them for your own financial gain. How dare she open a business for her own financial gain? What is wrong with her? Oh my gosh.
How dare she keep it closed on her own? I mean, it's not her choice to close it, but she's making the choice through the state to remain it closed because she's going to be like, no.
The judge continued, you've not followed them for your own financial gain and apparently for the publicity that comes with this. Pavlos Hackney has appeared on national concern to proclaim she was standing up for her constitutional rights. She has gained support of that the government has overstepped its bounds with orders intended to curb COVID.
I wonder if these talk shows are all just conservative or if they're just saying that, because I've noticed that. I was talking to somebody about this last night. Like, I just think that the biggest weapon right now is making people who are just standing up for liberty and freedom, is calling them like a conservative, because everybody just thinks Trump.
Right. Yeah, no, that's correct. And in fact, many times libertarians, anarchists, voluntarists get lumped into, those guys are the right-wing extremists. And like, if you ever hung out with us and then went and hung out with folks who were actually right-wing, you'd be like, yeah, there's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
It's pretty significant.
And from somebody who grew up on a military basis.
Yeah, and there are anarchists that are left anarchists as well. They've just come to the conclusion that the state is immoral and unethical from a different way. Now, they tend to be a little more collectivist than, say, libertarian anarchists, but, there are a couple of different sides to that coin. That being said, there are still huge differences between them and the left and them and conservatives, right. As well as the difference between, libertarians and conservatives. So, Pavlos Hackney had defiantly said Thursday that she would remain open even if she was arrested. So, ma'am, this is the wrong way to get publicity. This is the wrong way to be a good citizen, Aquilina said. It is the wrong way to assist the public in a pandemic. Pavlos Hackney remained silent during the proceeding.
Did she ever say she was trying to do any of those three things? Was she trying to assist the public? I mean, she really was by selling goods that people wanted to buy, but she wasn't trying to keep people from getting sick.
Yeah, if you provide
their problem.
A product or service that people want, you are doing a public service.
Absolutely. It's just, people voting with their dollars to decide that.
Pavlos Hackney remained silent during the proceeding. In fact, when she initially refused to take an oath to tell the truth and then attempted to argue with Aquilina, the no-nonsense judge threatened to arrest her for contempt of court. Here's what she said. I know you want to control this room, but this isn't Burger King. When the sign changes to Burger King, you can have it your way.
I've gotten so many jokes about that in my life because my name is Bonnie and my last name starts with a K, and I've just always gotten
DK. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Did you wear the crown? Did you wear the crown?
I've gotten the crown.
Okay.
Just
checking. So this was before Pavlos Hackney had a chance to confer with her attorney. Robert J. Baker of Holland, who was attending the court hearing via Zoom while the defendant was in the courtroom. Prior to Pavlos Hackney's arraignment, Aquilina did order the arrest for unauthorized law practice of Rick Martin, not to be confused with Ricky Martin, who indicated that he was appearing in court as Pavlos Hackney's assistant of counsel.
Did he look fabulous in court?
I don't know.
No, she banged.
Martin had filed a notice with the court that he was legally representing Pavlos Hackney, the judge indicated. Under questioning by Aquilina, Martin admitted that he was not a licensed attorney, but he insisted he was permitted to provide legal assistance under the Sixth Amendment. He told the judge that he was in the courtroom to assist Pavlos Hackney, reportedly a Polish immigrant, because she does have understanding problems with the English language. That prompted Aquilina...
Wait, why can't somebody just ask her? Reportedly, a Polish immigrant. That's odd.
Yeah. That prompted Aquilina to respond, apparently, sir, you have problems with the English language. This judge is all over the place, man. After citing case law and Michigan legislative law, Aquilina said Martin would be charged with contempt, a 93-day misdemeanor, and he was led from the courtroom by a bailiff. Pavlov's Hackney declined to enter a plea at arraignment and will return for a hearing which has not been scheduled. Baker, her attorney now, said Pavlov's Hackney was prepared to pay $7,500 immediately and to close the restaurant so that she could leave jail. That's the sad part of the situation.
Is it so?
Well, Aquilina responded that she heard Pavlos Hackney mutter that the restaurant had already closed at 2 p.m. The judge then wondered aloud if that was the usual closing time and that it would reopen the following day. Indeed, the restaurant's published hours are 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Wow, living La Vida Loca over here, guys. Okay, that's the last one.
You guys, in the next segment, I'm going to be going trans.
More coming up. I couldn't have said it any better.
I'm trying to find a way to sneak your bonbon in there.
To sneak what?
Shake your bonbon.
Shake a bomb.
Oh. I had to look him up right after I said that because I was like, is that what I'm thinking of? It's like a fabulous looking.
You know, that uniquely dates us that we know those references because
Yeah.
he was not any kind of a sensation for more than like, what,
You
4
okay?
or 5 years. So,
Yeah, I'll-
you know.
You got a little deadhead going on.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what are you drinking? That smells great.
Oh,
Like
that's,
it. He's got
sake.
great hair.
Why does it smell so good? Yeah.
It's like
it smells
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Very
It's
special
sake.
sake. Yeah.
Can I
Oh yeah.
smell it?
Yeah. I brought it to share.
Japanese sake?
Or so,
Ooh.
some kind of
As
Japanese
a,
drink.
I think you should, pour everybody who
Beer.
wants a pour as a penalty drink.
Oh, penalty drink.
Yeah.
I don't want any. I'm drinking.
Okay, no, it's in the kitchen if anyone wants. I left it there. I just got a small one.
Like, then Captain wouldn't get a penalty drink poured by you.
Okay, do you want me to bring it here?
It's not as good unless somebody else pours it for you.
Oh, sure, yeah. Okay, do you have a cup to pour it into?
You can use any of
There's
those.
another one
in
in
the
the
kitchen.
cabinet.
Sure thing.
You know your way around, right?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
It
man.
has been that long.
It's good to see you, man.
Thanks.
I think it's fantastic hair. Look at that thing. It's great. I'm a hair
Sit here
guy.
now. I'll sit there.
I'm like you with the hair too. That's why I.
You okay, Vincent?
Oh, not the
I guess you
sake.
can
Not the sake.
Shit.
That's why I buzz my head now
Oh.
because like my hair is just like yours. It just gets really like.
Now I feel
coarse
bad
and-
for insisting he pour it.
Well, yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah, I grew mine out about a little shorter than where yours is at now. Back in about 2011, last Porcfest I was at, and I had to let it go, man. It just got to be work for me.
It's just the winter time. You're always tucking it. You gotta wear a hat. So summertime, it's gonna be much more easier to manage.
Yeah.
Except for until it gets really freezing.
Before this all went away,
Yeah.
I had the long hair.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like blow drying my hair and I get out of the shower and I got a little mirror and I saw the spot come in, right? So I got my girlfriend at the time, got the barber clippers out and, she came home from work and I'm like, you gotta shave my head. And she's like, okay, and she did it. And she loved it. She was like, you should have done this years ago. And I'm like, yeah, I probably should have. Anyway, my point is, for the next maybe 2 years, whenever I would like put on a coat or something, I'd like to the ponytail, right? Because
Yeah.
when you put a coat on and your ponytail's hanging down, it sort of gets over, and if you, it's caught a little bit, right? So you want to get it out from under, and you want to get it over the back of your hood if you're wearing a hoodie or the collar or whatever. And so even though I didn't have any hair, I still kept doing the thing. Or every now and again, I do the,
Yeah.
the like,
Yeah.
to, get it out of your face, you know what I mean?
The
Kind of a
ghost,
thing, even though
yeah.
it's totally not there. It was the most, I was just like, why do I keep fucking doing this, man?
Phantom hair.
Yeah.
Or like I'll be in the shower to wash my hair like this, right? And it's like that one, or it's like there's 2 extra inches, right? And then I go back up and I get, ow! And I'm stuck between my ass cheeks. That's how long ago. I'm like, oh shit!
Damn, dude.
It's so
That's
bad.
growth. How long have you grown it, by the way?
Actually, when I left Bardo, which was like probably 4 years now, so
That's 4 years of growth.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I trimmed this because when I was doing Uber and stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to let this keep growing. I can't get the sides though. It's just I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It's
grooming
Irish
is
in
a
me,
fucking.
so-
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a nightmare.
I don't add oils and shit.
I think there should be empathy improvement with police. By the way, just a couple things I wrote down as you guys were talking about,
Yeah.
police misconduct. There should be a program to improve empathy relations with the police and how they conduct themselves with the people that they're interfacing with. And then, what was the other one? With the business, really what they're being charged with, the contempt of providing a livelihood and income for themselves and their employees is what the contempt is.
Oh yeah, good
You
point.
know, that's what they're really attacking them for. It's not really that they're doing anything wrong or harming anyone, but
We're back. Yes, it is Free Talk Live. The live, well, it used to be the live call-in radio talk program where you could take control of the airwaves. But since the terrorist attacks of March 16th, 2021, it is no longer the case. The gear has been damaged, systems have been taken out of play, and we are no longer able to take calls. We hope to have that remedied sometime very, very soon. But for the moment, we will try and continue to bring you the best content from the perspective of freedom. In the studio tonight, it's myself.
Vincent.
And Breaking the Flaw.
I didn't recognize you without your hat. I'm thinking, is Flaw back? Is the Asatru guy back? But no, it's you, Joe. I didn't recognize you without your hat. I don't think I ever saw you without your hat.
Oh, yeah, it's a common thing. Well,
You got your lion's mane going behind, behind you. It's like, wow. I used to have the longest hair here. Wow, man. I'm being replaced.
I don't know anyone that has any hair longer than me, honestly. Like,
I'm sorry.
when I
interrupted,
comb it out, it's
Captain.
longer.
Gosh, Bunny, you've sure changed.
Oh my God, yeah. And I realized I have a show after this tonight, in theory.
In theory, you do.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work or not. Right? I don't know if the FBI messed that up too.
I would imagine that they did, but I would not know too much about what you need to do to make that occur.
Well, at 10:06, we'll find out. And also,
So Vincent, you're a fellow YouTuber as well, then?
Yes, Shire Free Media on YouTube, dlive.tv/Shire Free Media for the alternative, the backup in case I get kicked off of YouTube for telling too much truth.
Well, why would anybody ever get kicked off YouTube for such a thing?
Oh, gee, let's see here. Do we have all night? How long is the segment?
Yeah, could we go over the terms and services for a moment here?
Oh my God, let's see here. Let's get the textbook.
So in the previous segment, we were talking about this article from mlive.com about this lady who kept her restaurant open even though she had been told to close by the government. The article continues, I'm clearly convinced that right now, today, the restaurant has remained open and she has no intention of complying with the law, Aquilina said. This is the judge.
The law.
Yes. The judge said she would only be satisfied that the restaurant would remain closed and therefore allow Pavlos Hackney to leave jail when Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel's office is satisfied. A representative of the Attorney General told Aquilina that the office typically is satisfied after it has verified, quote, over a number of days by the health department or state inspector that the establishment is indeed closed.
I would say this, guys, is that this is very similar to the gay cake case, right? That it was they were discriminating against gay cakes. They didn't want to make them.
Right.
And what happened? They tried to get shut down, right? And really what's going on is these conservatives are spreading this message all over the place, all over the nation. And I can guarantee you this restaurant is never going to either close down or she's never going to have to worry about money for a while because I'm sure people are donating. And it's like this is the recourse of the government's actions, right?
Right.
So they're not going to actually stop them. This is all about principle now. They just wanted to reopen it. And I'm sure they're going to be fine until they can do that again. That's my guess.
Well, they're literally prosecuting her for making a living.
Yeah.
You know, watching out for her own best interest, providing a valuable product and service to wanting customers.
Yeah.
The restaurant has continued to operate after its food license was suspended in late January for failing to require workers and customers to wear masks or socially distance. On March 4th, Ingham County Circuit Judge Wanda Stokes issued a bench warrant for Pavlos Hackney's arrest for repeatedly ignoring the food license suspension. That day, Hackney told MLive, I'm not afraid, I'm fighting for freedom in America. She was given until Thursday to turn herself in, which she did not do.
Make them earn their paycheck.
Right? Yeah. No, come and get me. I'd like a ride, please. Why should I pay for, parking or whatever, or Uber to, you come and pick me up.
It's like a game of hide and seek and one-sided tag all across the state.
Very nice. Excellent analogy. So Hackney recently featured on Fox News. Tucker Carlson tonight and Glenn Beck said she refused to be bullied by the government. I stay strong because I'm not going to let the government intimidate me or put fear in me, she told Beck. I'm going to keep fighting for American freedom and my constitutionally protected rights. The restaurant had remained open despite a state order last November that banned indoor dining at restaurants to slow the spread of coronavirus. At that time, a sign was placed on the front door that read, "Welcome. We are a constitutionally compliant business. We are not infringing on anyone's inalienable rights. By law, we do not follow any of the governor's, mayor's, health departments, or other government agencies' orders or suggestions pertaining to social distancing or mask wearing." Hackney has garnered the support of others who believe the government has overreached its bounds. Despite Hackney's arrest, the restaurant opened on Friday, with her supporters packing the eatery for breakfast.
Really? Go figure, right?
Yeah. In Mason, about a dozen supporters appeared Friday morning outside the Ingham County Jail where Hackney was being held. Her supporters, many of them frequent attendees of Patriot events opposing COVID-19 orders, etc., chanted, "Arrest the sheriff," and displayed memorabilia in support of former President Trump, of course, because they got to paint her as a right-wing conservative, right? Martin was there too prior to his arrest and he had called the coronavirus a pandemic Trojan horse in order to bring in economic warfare. This woman has ultimate faith in God and she knows what is right. A GoFundMe page has been set up to raise money for Hackney's legal fees and states that Hackney actually escaped communism in Poland in 1983 for the freedoms and individual rights of the United States, where she became a citizen in 1992. It further compares the unconstitutional lockdowns issued during the pandemic with the communism she had fled. So, there you go. Kudos to this person for bucking the system, for standing up for herself, for not backing down to arguably the world's largest bully.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The government created a victim, and she's becoming a hero.
And this is so important too, because to I guess use a very shallow children's movie analogy, when one ant stands up, they'll all stand up, right? And there we go. When one ant stands up, they'll all stand up, right? So many people are just scared and looking for someone to someone to do something, right? Someone else to do something. And this woman probably was, although if you do run a business, you probably have somewhat leadership skills, but like dissidence, doing resisting the government, that doesn't really come naturally to anyone, right? At least outside of Keene. And it's just so important that just regular, normal, conservative people are finally standing up to the government and not thinking that this is for the greater good, but this is for grandfather's government.
Yeah, and that's why I and many other hosts here on Free Talk Live try to point these stories out. That's why we bring this type of thing in, is to highlight these people, because this should be, in my opinion, a natural reaction to this type of bullying.
Yeah.
Everybody should have this sort of a state of mind that, no, you're not going to bully me around. This is my livelihood you're talking about. This is my ability to feed my family, to employ others that she probably cares about her employees, as most business owners generally do. They try to take care of them. They try to help them when possible. And so, it's not just her. It's not just her business. It's everybody else. And she has the support of the community. So when your business has the support of your local community to buck the system and to defy these bullies, then it's really easy to tell who's in the wrong.
I would wish that more business owners would do this and not just be a statistic of being shut down and closing your doors forever. We need you to stand up, not just for your own livelihood, but for everyone else around you, because we need some humanity or civility here. And the state does not know how to do that. They're not apologetic in any kind of way when they do this, and they're not held accountable. And you better believe you see them maskless eating at restaurants that their friend owns.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she had prime location. That's what I wonder if like there's more to it. And I think they're trying to shut people down because they want to buy up properties later on. I mean, that's conspiracy, but I really think that's what it's all about too. That they were going to select who they want to stay open, and those who are compliant now are going to be the ones open later, and it's all their friends and all their buddies that are going along with it.
For like civic slumlords, right? They take control of an area, they run it to the ground, they run all independent, normal people out of it just so that they could turn it into a parking lot. Something ugly, something disgusting, and are willing to hurt no matter who in order to do it.
There is more Free Talk Live en route very soon.
All roots. Excuse me.
I
Okay,
hate roots.
okay, so I do have show pro. Did you talk about the pedophile judge?
We did not.
Okay, whose name is Blow Me? Blomme.
You can't say that on the radio.
Well, that's her name though.
I'm
I don't know how to
saying.
pronounce it. Oh, okay. I was like-
Blom. It's probably Blom.
Well,
or
it sounds like
Blome or
it
something.
could
Yeah.
be spelled Blow Me.
Can you guys?
Actually, I
pronounce
would
it
try
for
to
me,
say it
please?
Blome, just so people still think it's funny.
Blow Me.
Yeah, you'd be like, and Judge Blome.
I'll have it pulled up. Oh yeah, what's how do I connect to the Wi-Fi here?
Go to the Shire Free Church one. Well, here, can I see
You guys
that?
have Wi-Fi?
I can tell
Well,
you.
we're hijacking the Wi-Fi from next door.
Do you want any of this?
Yes,
Joe? Do you have is your cup empty or?
It's not really clean. Will it be okay?
Your cup runneth empty. Do you know where the kitchen is?
Just put it in there.
He's like, go for it. It's fine.
I don't want to create too. I don't want to create too many more dishes.
I would put
Oh,
about
yeah.
half.
Oh yeah, Calvin. Yeah,
Oh no, I'm good on the booze.
Money.
it's
No, we're
just
talking about-
13%. But okay.
We're
There
talking
it
about
is.
alcohol
Oh, yeah, do you
It's
want
not
some?
booze, it's sake.
No.
Sake isn't my. Actually, I kind of do want.
Oh, this works.
Yep.
Thank you.
It tastes
Um,
like raisins.
I can tell you the password.
It does?
Maybe I just thought it'd be easier for me to type it right now.
Oh no. Did you type it?
I've had sake.
Oh, awesome,
many
thank
times.
you. Appreciate it. Still have all this like flax. It's like the I just got it.
We have.
Oh my god.
Doesn't it taste like raisins?
We have things.
Yeah,
that aren't
sake usually tastes very
THC.
like rice.
Oh yeah.
kinda
So what
thing.
are the cookies you brought?
Oh yes, regular.
Plum. How do you pronounce that?
Plum.
Plum Gekian?
These are regular. These aren't. Let's see here. You have the.
Wow.
Here we go. All right,
Do
everybody.
you promise they're regular?
Yes, these are regular.
Are they the weed treats?
No.
No.
Whoa.
Do you want one? This
They're
is
shaped
still
like
Fuck
weed.
yeah, dude.
They're shaped like weed.
Yeah. No, I know. I know. I'm toward to
It's
trick
only,
you.
it's the only cookie form he had.
Ooh.
There's no
Yeah,
weed.
it's the only. It's literally the only cookie cutter I had. Yeah.
Just a regular cookie.
Careful.
with a-
Don't eat all of it at once, otherwise you'll have a sugar rush. Here you go. Matt is probably.
Wait, is it or not? Is there or is there not weed in here?
There's
not.
not weed.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
it's me too.
No. If it was, I'd be like $10, $10, $10,
Yeah,
$10.
Okay.
dude.
All right.
You should have just told me there was, and I
That
I'm
would've
like, oh, it's so,
Yo,
I'm so messed up. What'd you put in these?
Good.
Oh, you like-
Coffee.
Oh, it's family recipe. Very old family recipe.
That is really good. It's like buttery. Well, is there butter in it?
Yes, yeah.
Uh-oh.
I chose a salty, creamy butter.
Oh, you're so right. I can't
Holy
eat
shit.
the whole thing. Like
You
it's
like
kind
it?
of it's rich.
You're right about the sugar high.
No, yeah. I would get so. I would eat like 2 and my stomach would.
I'm gonna,
Oh my god, I'd
I'm gonna
eat too
take a
much.
photo.
Yeah.
I just lie
That's
down.
like fudge for me. It's kind of like fudge, and I can't eat like a
Oh, no.
big thing of fudge. You know. I mean, it's good in your mouth, but not in your stomach.
If only all junk food was like that. Like you literally couldn't eat more than like 1 serving.
This like
otherwise you'd get
dissolves
sick.
before it even gets to the back of your tongue.
Mhm.
Was that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad to hear. But yeah, I cooked it a little bit too hot. Like there's like some. That's why usually it's supposed to be very golden. You know, it's supposed to be like golden.
Lufacarious Rat Speed
But,
is messaging you on Twitter apparently.
Yeah, it was the
Oh, Telegram. Telegram.
I overcooked it a bit, but glad you
Yes,
guys like
many
it.
people are
Yeah,
messaging me.
flesh.
It's strange though. Why they would do that?
Is that
It's
charged?
it's a thing that happens.
This one, yeah, but I'm
It's-
just annoyed because I'm trying to smoke this other adult.
I just did there, Luciferius.
It's better to smoke with
Luciferius?
Lufacarious. Lufacarious? Lufacarious?
Like that. The one that I have
It's
is
a little quick.
covered in fuzz. Like this.
He wants to help you get his streaming server back up.
What?
Help him get your streaming service back
I
up.
don't see a message from that
Where'd your
person.
phone go?
What? I'm gonna use this one.
Oh,
Lu-
okay.
He says just call me Luffy,
But I gotta
Luffy
figure
or
it out.
Luffy.
So I wanted to
Lumpy?
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know who the guy is,
This one,
so
it gets
Okay.
stuck in this, and
I don't
have
see any
that
messages
in
until
the
That's
beginning.
about that.
I know how to fix it. I know how to clean it. Yeah, I have one of those.
What's up, LT man?
Just to keep us from having to clean it, touch it for like literally half a second,
I was
and
just
then
gonna
just
do.
do it like twice.
I
Oh
was
yeah,
just gonna do some of this.
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, 316. Never forget, guys.
That was a little more mild. Actually, a lot more mild.
Never forget 316 when the Crypto 6 were arrested.
Indeed.
I think I'll probably forget in a few weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, when you dig up all of Ian's hidden treasure and then go to the Cayman Islands with Mark,
Oh my god.
that's like supervillain stuff.
Oh my god.
There's no dump button, right? So we have to be like extra careful.
Yeah, there's no dump button.
Well, I did use the dump button. I'm just not 100% certain that it's functioning.
What was
So
that?
hold on, could we actually hear LRN right now?
Nope.
Well, it's like a weird.
Well, I hear it right now.
Yeah, but it's.
But it's not being broadcast over
It's
at
not saying.
LRN.fm.
Ah, fuck. So then, but whoops. I mean, but the thing is though, there's other networks that pick up LRN. So I'd be curious. Okay, so I'll wait until 10:06, and if I hear dead air,
On your phone, go to LRN.fm
doesn't
and
work.
hit that little player. You will
It
hear
doesn't
nothing.
no, but it didn't work before the raid. Flash, Chrome stopped accepting Flash, and even on a Brave, right? It still doesn't work.
Hey, no bullshit about
I
the
didn't even think it.
paying income tax. You show me where in the code it says we have to pay. Go ahead.
So
But that doesn't work, though.
this isn't even on. We're not streaming to any websites here.
So it's all going through that.
No, it's actually going through that.
Oh, cool.
The second silver box down. And that goes, this is the screen to monitor that, and that goes out to the network.
Yeah.
And that goes out to the network.
Eric
The
Brandt
network then
says.
broadcasts it to all of the radio stations.
Eric Brandt says. Remember the 16th of March. It doesn't rhyme, but it works.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Oh, man.
Eric Brandt's a shit, man.
Let's get the
All right.
article.
I had like two like premonitions before this happened. Ian has a poster in his room that's Sucker Punch,
Oh,
and it said like I guess it's supposed to be for before the movie came out, and it says like March 25th you will be unprepared, and I was like shit, I hope nothing bad
No.
happens on March 25th.
It's my.
It's just
court
off by,
date.
like, a week.
You could go crazy thinking about that.
It's it's gonna be pushed though.
Yeah.
I don't
You
do
know,
it.
I have gone crazy. I'm crazy.
That's like gematria. That's like a gematria level. You know, the letters in Trump's name add up to Antichrist, stuff like that. That's like. Oh, actually, I do believe in that's. Well, other people do, but yeah, no, you'll go crazy thinking about that. It's, you know, they've been planning this for a very long time. Zack Snyder was in on it. That's when he made it on the poster.
I believe they're using, the religious
Yes.
aspect against us too.
Oh my god. Sorry. The person, Seth Aframe, got Chris Cantwell indicted.
Wait, sorry, but who?
Seth
Seth-
Aframe that was on the.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. But,
Yeah, he's the same guy that's going after the Crypto 6.
Oh God.
In fact, I talked directly to him to try and get some of my property back that they seized.
Yeah.
And when I Googled him, Chris came up. Like, he's the one who is primarily in charge of going after Chris.
Really?
So those two cases are intertwined. In fact, I wonder if Chris gave them information.
Oh my.
Although-
What would he know though? Like they've been doing the
Probably.
investigation for years.
I wonder. I suspect not, but I do wonder.
I mean, he could have been
Unless-
giving them just general information about.
Well, there's a lot of crossover too.
Unless it was Cantwell was the one who he gave the money to, who said he made it off of drugs.
That didn't happen.
Well, but
I'm
that
not
didn't
joking.
happen.
That didn't happen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like Ian was shaking his head, so people thought that he knew who it was, but it
He's
makes
saying
sense.
like fuck that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I see.
ridiculous, guys. What's up,
Weird, like,
Gardner
this
Earth
smells
guy,
like
Shay
soy sauce.
Ginger,
We're coming
free,
back, guys.
free Cantwell. Forget that guy.
No. I mean, I believe Cantwell.
Oh,
is-
yeah.
well,
I was like, what's down there? I don't know.
I just don't want him to step, or someone to step on him. It'll be a mess. My house is so crazy.
Yes, it is Free Talk Live.
Oh.
It is the Saturday night edition. This is hour number 3. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, everybody. We do appreciate it. In the studio tonight, it is myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, joining.
Just Vincent.
And breaking the flaw.
Liberty Stickers is a pretty cool place. Do you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty? You can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. Check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic, liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. That's libertystickers.com. What do you got there?
Oh, I've been looking forward to talking about this ever since I was invited on. This is from the New York Post. Juvenile court judge charged with child porn possession.
Whoa!
I'm really surprised though, guys.
And yeah, well, I mean, if your occupancy is your position in life makes you literally above the law in many cases, and it puts you directly in charge of children. I mean, it makes sense that he would get off on, or someone in that situation would get off on that. But it gets even worse. And oh, by the way, we've heard some debate on his name, but I'll begin. A juvenile court judge in Wisconsin has been suspended without pay after being charged with 7 counts of possession of child pornography.
Is this? I think I read something. Is this Manitowoc?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Okay.
And they called it the Cream City, and I'm thinking, was that like the porn site he got it off of? And apparently Milwaukee's called that. It's an odd name.
It used to be the Beer City because there was many breweries scattered throughout.
Then Prohibition. Then they had to call it just for cream soda.
I guess.
Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Brett. Okay, so I thought it was pronounced something different. It's Blome, Blome. I thought it was pronounced something different, but I can't say it.
Blue May.
Yeah, Blume.
Haywood Jablume.
38 was charged with Wednesday following the execution of search warrants in his chambers, his car, and his residences in Milwaukee and Dane counties. The Wisconsin Department of Justice announced criminal complaint indicates investigators began probing Blome in February upon getting a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children showing a user on the Kik messaging app named Dom Master BB uploaded child porn images and videos 27 times in October and November. And I mean, it's like, that's only that they could prove, I suspect, or that they have, I suspect. I mean, I don't think that this guy, on this one, or at least I don't suspect on this 1 October and 1 November said, I'm going to be a pedophile for 2 months, right? So I think there's probably a lot more they haven't uncovered. The alleged uploads took place from a home Blome and his husband, and his husband owned in Cottage Grove. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reports the couple have 2 adopted children, but court records don't indicate they were included in any of the 6 videos and 1 image shown of kids being sexually abused, the newspaper reports.
That's at least somewhat.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I just find this so. I read a different article. I didn't save it, unfortunately. That said that some of the allegations are that it's some of the stuff was uploaded on like government property, but apparently the guy is able to keep custody of his adopted children, and I mean I just think that is so.
What?
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's in this. Let's see here. I'll try and find it. Because like you have fathers losing access to their children, right? If a couple gets divorced, there's no history of abuse or whatever, the judge could decide, all right, women are better with children, so the children have full custody or only birthdays and Christmas with her father, guy's allowed to keep his kids.
Yeah, we did a show last night about a woman who got her daughter taken away from her because the daughter was wearing a mask, but the mom wasn't when she dropped her off at school, and so they were, her and the father were in the middle of a divorce, and so the father used that as leverage to get the child removed from the mom's custody.
That's gosh, yeah, I mean, like if you thought CPS was bad before the coronavirus, they somehow made themselves worse. I did not think they could sink any lower, but taking away kids just because of a mask, that's, it used to be taking away kids because of homeschooling, taking away kids because of unschooling, taking away kids because they collect rainwater in their backyard, but now it's for mask use. The maskies have gone too far.
But yet they allow somebody accused of at least, uploading child pornography to retain custody.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing is, though, it's an investigation, right? And many, many judges don't believe this, unfortunately, but I do, right? People are innocent until proven guilty, so I'm just putting that out there. But I mean, if they're investigating a judge, they better be damn well sure, right? Otherwise, all these cops could lose their jobs.
Right.
So I think that these are obviously very extremely serious.
I wonder all his judgments are going to be questioned because his validity as an honest person or a good person in society has been questioned. I would continue that to every decision he ever made in court.
Right. Yeah.
And the warrant allowed for research of his courtroom.
Wow.
So it's not just his house, not like something he's been, allegedly just been doing, at house. Like, so I always wonder what these judges are looking at, right? When they're not paying attention.
Does the article continue?
Yeah. So this is now from a post-millennial. I found the other one. The court records do not suggest they were part. Child Protective Services is involved with her current placement, defense attorney Christopher von Wagner said during the court hearing. Blame was held overnight. Actually, I don't want this guy to be French. Blom was held overnight and released with a signature. He has been ordered to stay off social media and file sharing services and is not allowed he's not allowed near any children except the 2 that he adopted with his husband.
Jeez.
And the reason why, and the only, it's unfortunate, the only reason why this exploded on conservative Twitter was because this this judge was also the former president of Drag Queen Story Hour Foundation.
I don't know
Really,
what that is.
really.
Yeah, and so
That really throws a lot under the bus for everything that was going on with that. What was it? The story time while they're dressed transgendered people dressed up doing story time.
Well, and there's some debate if drag queen is just an act, right, and like the gender thing. But yeah, and now some people might think, okay, well that's just to teach kids to be tolerant. But like a lot of it, like I've seen video right at local libraries, and they're doing like strip teases in front of the kids. Or
Right.
Kids
This is normal stuff.
Yeah, they're getting kids to put I saw one where they're in a sexual outfit, right, and the kid is sitting on their lap while they're reading like weird sex books. It's
Wow.
To really go over that whole story time thing, they were pushing the limits on that. Maybe it was a bit light at first. Like I have no problem with trans people, I have trans friends and everything. And if they want to read books to kids, that's fine. But I think it's inappropriate that you're doing it in a sexual manner. Like you're dressing up like you were a drag queen at the club about to do your little swing, right? That's not how this is. This is kids, and they don't need to see your perversion while reading a book. And usually the books are the normalcy factor, right? So they can use that for clout later on. But I'm not really surprised about this at all.
And here's okay. So I actually did find the best part. The search warrant signed off by. Well, I mean, there's no good part in all of this, but in terms of article kind of. So the search warrant signed off by a judge on Monday. And usually judges, it's a good old boys club. So as I say, this got to be serious. If another judge actually said, oh my, thought it was serious enough. Like I've seen judges honk and cut off cops, right? And then the cop pulls him over and bro, license to registration, and the judge gets out of a car and starts screaming at the cops, you know who I am? And the cop, says, and then he he's like, sit down, and he threatens him with his gun. Then he goes and runs his license, and he's like, excuse me, sorry, Your Honor. And he's like, yeah, that's right. And and so this guy, at least so at least we know for most judges, pedophilia is where they the nepotism and the special privileges across the line. But also he was not just getting, he wasn't doing this at home, right? The allegedly, so the search warrant resulted in finding that 2 of the files were actually uploaded from a Milwaukee County government building. So this dude was uploading the stuff at work for the government.
That's pretty.
I shouldn't sound so surprised.
It's either dumb or just lack of caring, lack of knowledge, or
hubris. It's arrogance.
Hubris, yes, arrogance. Like, oh, you can't catch me because I'm a judge. More Free Talk Live on the way.
Are you gonna take it down?
I did take one. I am fucking.
Oh, is that the
feeling it.
live resin?
Yeah, we got to refill it
What
because
is
it's
live resin?
it's the Delta 9 or whatever.
It's
really?
It's legal. No, this
Delta
is
8.
it's legal.
Right.
I thought live resin was like something that like knocks you out. I thought the Delta 8 was something that calms you down.
Well, Delta 8 is just a different type of THC.
Oh, I'm
than
sorry, Delta 9. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Sorry.
Delta 9 is just regular weed, and then Delta 8 is
But-
that and this. But the thing with that one is it's a really low percentage of Delta 8 and a high percentage of CBD. This one has like a really low percentage of CBD. Actually has no CBD in this one, and just Delta
perfect.
8.
Do you wanna get
try that
turned?
one? Because it's
Turned into what?
this
Turned.
one is my ultimate
Like,
favorite.
do you want to get high, very high?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, let me send this text. I've been saying this text for like 15
Okay.
minutes.
Do you want to
Hey.
wait until the show's
Yeah,
over?
yeah, yeah.
On
Legal,
okay.
Sorry.
legal New
Okay,
Hampshire.
gotcha.
Good job,
On
Captain.
topic with what you're.
I'm
this is-
hallucinating
pine
over here. And I'm
cones.
just gonna. I'm like about to fall asleep. Yeah. Then I drank the coffee. Oh, and this thing right here has all the letters for Kekkei Genkai from Naruto.
Oh my gosh.
That's so weird.
Nerd.
It probably inspired sake.
Do you know what Kekkei Genkai is?
No.
It's when somebody in like a tribe in Naruto has like a tribe like trait. Like if you can only have this power if you're from that trait. If you're from that tribe.
Uh-oh.
And there's all the letters for that in there.
So
I wanna
we
try
get
to
special powers from sipping the sake of.
Yeah, I want to try to swing in
I'm not gonna try to say that again.
the Stowe police chief.
Oh, that I have no
Into
idea.
this.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my only thing. I could look for more stuff.
know,
Yeah.
On the story that
no,
you
no,
reported on,
save it.
it's like count the red flags. Like it's hindsight is always 20/20, but like how many red flags do you have to see before there should be some
Oh yeah,
intervention?
what is the
Yeah.
trans
Drag
story
queens.
time?
You never heard of drag queen story time?
No.
So I mean, like I think I'm coming at I'm a Christian, so that's where I'm coming from. But I think people should be allowed to live their lives. I mean, I'm not gonna, I committed a very serious sin a few hours ago, so I'm not judging. But it's like when you involve children, and the thing is, it's the parents wanting to have pictures for Facebook, right? It's like a social thing, and you see these kids. It's like some of these people are dressed like demons, right? Like I saw one, they had like a horn. They literally had a prosthetic horn coming out of her head. Yeah, oh yeah.
Well,
that's like
reading
the-
books to kids, I mean, is very, very odd.
And when I say kids, I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about kids.
So,
yeah.
Like
one
toddlers.
time, one exposed themselves to the kids because he was wearing a skirt.
Oh, I didn't-
Exposed himself. And 2 other times they were registered sexual.
I hate to be Ignatius
if
about
you
it, but it
were-
is a very bad perversion of society when you're doing that to children.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And if
That's
you
very
were
rightly.
like a person who wants to do stuff like that inappropriately with children, if you're a freak like that, then that sounds like a job that would attract you.
Yep.
Being
Yes.
a judge, yeah.
Oh wait, no, not the judge.
A drag queen. Oh, I see. Yeah, for
Well,
story
maybe
time.
being
Well,
a
both.
judge
Both.
too.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Being a judge.
both.
Well, but he wasn't a drag queen. He was just interested,
Oh,
right?
still perverted in his own special way.
I wonder if some of that porn was actually from those story times.
That's what I'm saying. Oh no! Actually, what if he was seeing cases and saving the stuff,
yeah.
saving the details? Because the judges can look at that stuff.
I'd investigate CPS too, right? Anyone from CPS who had ties to that guy.
Yeah.
Well, and they always say the smartest criminals go into
Yeah.
that field because that's where you get them.
Yeah.
You can hide the best. So, I mean,
No,
maybe not
we're
all
about to come
judges.
back,
Let's not. Oh.
Hey, still police
Hashtag
chief.
not
I
all
wanna talk about
judges.
this.
Yeah, but
You got more?
there
Oh
are
no,
a few.
that's it for that. I could find something else if we need something.
I'll tie it into.
You got more? Okay. I mean, just
Got
open
it.
discussion about the topic is fine too. I'm sure once we get rolling, I'll have something to say.
You guys are riffing good.
thecrypto6.com. Yes, a moment of silence for the Crypto 6. Not that they're dead or anything, but well, they were kidnapped by, well, literally the planet's biggest bully. That's right.
They're a gang.
They're a gang. They're a bully. Everything they do is bully. Everything they do. You remember when society went through this whole bit, social media blew up about, bullying, children are being bullied, and here's a course on how to keep your kid from being bullied, and
Well, you go to
bully
police
this
station.
and
And
bully that.
And
But they never take a look at government, because all of the things, all of the signs that somebody is bullying you are exactly the actions that the government does to people every day.
Well, you can go to the police station and they have anti-bullying stuff there, and I pointed out to them.
did they? Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, I was there earlier today, but I just want to say, since you brought that up, I was going to school. It was like junior high when that whole anti-bullying thing and in like the 2010s sort of came out, and it actually increased bullying. Because anytime a kid who would stand up to his bully, because it was like when like the stuff from like Mean Girls and like jocks shoving people in lockers, that was done by the time I was in school.
Yeah.
It was just passive aggressiveness. It was just like it was like cyberbullying without a computer. And the kid who was like the most violent bully in the class, his dad was a psychologist from the Pentagon, and he gave a presentation on bullying, and his son is the school bully.
Well, actually, let me just go into that for a second. The reason why they became more bullying, because you're not technically allowed to label it bullying in schools, because if you do, they get less funding for their school. So if you have statistically a lot more bullying in your school, then it's not looking good for the school. So they basically just give the kid a slap on the wrist. He continues to do it, and now they don't have any bullying because they didn't record it as a statistic.
Oh, wow. In case the listeners are wondering, this is Free Talk Live. It is the Saturday night edition. We're well into hour number 3, and well, the topic has been pretty lively because we've been talking about this judge out of Wisconsin who has been busted. I mean, he hasn't been tried yet, so allegedly, all this is alleged stuff, but allegedly 27 times uploading porn, some even from when he was at work. And he works for, of course, he's the judge, so he works for the government. So, they talk about, what's the term they use all the time? White privilege? Well, what about government privilege? Because people in government take advantage of their positions all the time.
Power corrupts.
It certainly does. And, we have things like, you talk about the good old boys network, right? And nepotism occurs and all that. Special favors occur. Like, the judge gets pulled over. Do you know who I am? Stuff like that, right? It occurs all of the time.
How did the judge get caught again?
It was one of these child sex crime preventions. They found his Kick account and somehow that he uploaded allegedly, and somehow they tied it back to him.
Script flip.
I don't know what a Kick account is.
So Kick is, I have a vague idea of what it is just because people mention it on 4chan. Kick is like this app where you just send pictures to each other, so it's like a sexual thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of like predator poacher content on YouTube, and this stuff is very entertaining, and it is just so shocking how many pedophiles there are. Like forget the deep web. I'm talking about like within a Google search.
Sure.
How people could find this child sex abuse images.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up about the predator poacher, Massachusetts, and how he script flipped the chief of police in Stowe, set up a underage sting operation, and caught him trying to meet up with an underage boy. I think he was like 14. He said he
13
was.
or 14.
Yeah, he usually goes 13 to 14, so I don't know. But he showed up, got him, and of course the courts, maybe they're in on it too because they made him look not so bad when he got his home confinement. That's what we got, guys. Try to meet with the kid to have sex with, and that's what happens. But that's what we need more of. We need to try to, if they're abusing you, let people know so that we can flip script them and turn it on their head.
It's interesting to me that the government's reaction to crimes alleged by people who work in government get treated so differently than other crimes. And it also irks me that crimes committed against, say, the studio that we're all sitting in right now, have a reaction from the community that would be totally different if the events that happened, the terrorist raid that happened here on March 16th, were to happen on, say, a Catholic church in the community. Right. What would the community's outcry be for that?
Oh, not all priests, they'll just shuffle. Well, actually, after the movie Spotlight, I guess it's more, well, it depends on how many Catholics there are in Keene, actually, now that I think about it. Because a lot of the times Catholic, I used to be Catholic, my whole family is Catholic. You just make excuses for it, right? Because, when you think that the leader, the executive of this ancient organization that goes back to, in my opinion, pre-Roman times, and you think that he's literally God's representative on earth, and you're gonna accept a lot of stuff.
Enough. The Vatican has a lot of money, so they could cover up anything they want, like they've done with everything else.
But they got $2 billion in Corona stimulus.
I'm just saying, imagine if you will, let's call it a Lutheran church, right? That gets surrounded by the FBI, the Treasury Department, the IRS, the ATF, a couple of Bearcat tanks, right? A drone, and local PD and county PD, right? And they bash in their doors and windows and create a bunch of damage and destruction and come in and kidnap, several of the church's clergy.
Well,
What would the community outrage be then compared to what it is now here in Keene, which is the exact opposite of outrage? I keep seeing folks, the Slantinal, of course, puts the dirty word out, right? And, makes everything into a horrific picture of, a cesspool of crime. And these are just peaceful people who've committed no crime, but like the media makes it out to be something that it's not. And so they don't recognize it as a church. I've heard people call it a fake church. It's like, well, if this is a fake church, then so are all of your other churches.
Well, the only difference is that this one was taking crypto, or selling it, or whatever, right? Or I don't know.
Churches take donations all the time.
Right.
But there's 501c3 though. But then they have to follow all these other government rules.
But it even says in the 501c3 laws that a church does not need to file the paperwork to be considered a church.
And hey, there's an opportunity for anyone that's into the crypto world and knows how to make applications. Why don't we start getting churches to accept crypto? Maybe set up little point of sale systems of sorts at churches.
Interesting. Maybe they could use an existing application, like an AnyPay or something like that.
Like
for
just
their,
have
for their donations.
just a QR code inside the basket, and it goes around. You just go boop with your phone, and there you go. You made your donation. You can change the denominations, and why not? That will secure them. That'll keep them from actually holding a lot of cash. Maybe
interdenominational donation.
That sounds great. That's very long-winded.
You can say that again, or can I? No, I don't think I can. My vernacular is not that verbose. Whoa, what's going on? I have no idea. There'll be more of this, or maybe not.
I was waiting for something else there.
I just, my brain went blank. I'm like, I guess I'm not talking.
We should have like a whiteboard or something, like write down like the things we should end with.
Does everyone have Cell 411 off their phones?
I have it on.
Is
my
it
phone.
really that compromised?
We should remove
Virgil
it.
Vaduga is saying it's compromised and you take it off.
Well, I don't do anything.
Lee
illegal on
confirmed
cell
it,
phone
too.
one.
But then it's just like
Yeah.
The appeal to empathy
something.
that
I
you're
don't know.
describing.
The bail hearing, right?
Yeah.
And they were talking about, this belongs to the church and the church operates, and that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like,
What's up,
this whole community would react far differently if, there was a raid like this, a SEAL Team 6, style, military style raid performed on, a terrestrial church, right?
Right.
The one down the road.
Any church around
any
here,
church
other
around
than
here.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be outrage from everybody.
Huge outrage.
Right.
Huge outrage.
Eric Brandt says he wouldn't mind if the Catholic Church got raided.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
if
Eric.
Open up for archive, right? See some of the stuff they've been hiding for like thousands of years.
Sure. Or the history they're rewriting.
No, they're not real
That's
churches.
really what it is.
Actually, you know what? They're probably less real churches than Ian's church because no real church has ever, helped me as much as Ian's church.
Yeah.
I even went to basically church, aka government anger management classes, and didn't help me as much as Ian has helped me.
Well, and I think we all
Yeah,
understand that
I-
Ian doesn't have a problem touching boys, so that sets him apart
Yeah,
from.
but you need to phrase that differently. He doesn't have a problem.
Oh yeah, you're right. That could go the other way.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh my God.
I don't want to hear it again, but
Yeah.
Nobody knows you meant.
Is phrasing here on Free Talk Live.
Are you okay? It looks like you're choking on your words.
No, I'm feeling buzz.
Yeah. I'm pretty high over here.
So at 10:06, I'll see. Hopefully I don't have to do. Hopefully I don't have to do it, just so I can party and relax. But if not, then we'll just continue the party.
Well, so you'll notice the screen is blank,
Yeah.
which means that there's no way to control anything that goes out.
So it's just going to be dead air. So I can't physically. So okay, so we can't connect to LRN. So this is going to GCN.
Well, it's going to Westward 1.
Westward 1.
Yeah, because we switched networks.
Isn't it Westwood one?
Westwood.
Oh, I did
1,
not know
yeah,
that.
it is Westwood 1.
Okay, but if I want to do, so if I want to,
Because I'm trying to sound like I'm from New Hampshire.
if I wanted to do something, if I wanted to do something to LRN, which is how the show goes over, like I don't have a network, right? Then I can't do that.
I don't know, dude.
Oh man.
No.
Like,
The
I'm-
no.
I'm-
The answer is no. Okay,
I'm pretty sure
I'm
the
gonna tell
answer is
people
no.
Well, with the exception if they want to tune in like to D Live and just listen audio off D Live, but like that's a really restricted platform that you'd have to direct everyone towards. to
Well,
make that
I have
happen.
my own D Live, but I'm not in a good headspace right now to be dealing with doing like a full 2-hour show, so I'm just gonna relax. And
I think that's the best idea.
I thought Ian would be here today, and you would get to be doing your show with Ian.
We were
Oh, I
hopeful.
see, yeah,
We were hopeful.
Well, we're waiting Monday, right? For
We're waiting.
expeditiously.
We're waiting
Yeah,
is what we're
that was
doing.
the objective word.
Yeah.
There are-
I had to look that up actually. I'll admit.
But did you see what Julie said? Because I thought the same thing right when she said it. That she kind of maybe hopefully.
We're
did
coming
like
back,
a
guys.
Freudian slip.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that does make me hopeful.
Yes, it is Free Talk Live, the Saturday night edition. We are the talk radio program that brings you the perspective of freedom, peace, and prosperity, and we will continue to do so.
In love.
And love. We don't talk about love a whole lot here on Free Talk Live. We should talk about it more, I think, particularly from the perspective of how it helps bring peace and prosperity.
Unites it all.
It does. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
It's me, Vincent.
Breaking the Flaw.
Thanks to Vincent for making the journey out to be on the show tonight, and you too, Joe. We appreciate you streaming as well.
Oh, I'm
over at-
sorry I was late, but thank you for thanking me.
Yeah, well,
You're welcome.
thank
No,
you
I mean,
for thanking me
anytime
for
I was
thanking you.
honored to be asked on again. It was fun. You know, so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off here, Joe. Like, you know, I mean, I've been trying to, you know, so since I live away from Keene, I've been trying to set up my own thing, right, which has been very successful. You know, that just shows, right? I'm outing myself as the opportunistic trader, right? I'm muscling in. This is a hostile takeover on a 7 p.m. slot because that's what I've been streaming. But I do like
Carpe
this.
diem, man.
I like the 7 p.m. slot, and but you know, and also like I've branched out and got become very popular in, you know, the Christian conspiracy audience and stuff. So it's not, you know, we're sharing, right? You know, it's not a non-zero sum
Wait,
game.
so is that just conspiracies by folks who are Christian, or is it conspiracies that surround the Christian faith?
All of it.
Is it? Oh, okay. So
It's not like Alex Jones, right?
No,
Alex
no,
Jones.
no. We
Okay,
tell the
okay.
truth.
Okay.
Alex Jones is a Freemason who worships Gotu,
Or-
the grand architect of the universe.
Or
He's
is
a
it-
Rosicrucian. He's admitted that his family are Rosicrucians, right? Excuse me. So
or is it a program where you think Christianity is a conspiracy?
No. Well, it's a conspiracy of love by Jesus. Yeah, I mean, you know, conspiracy was a plan made by more than two people, and it was made by the Holy Spirit, by God, and by Jesus. So if that's what you mean by a conspiracy,
That's
yeah.
not really what I meant.
But yeah, and you know, so I've been trying to do my own thing, you know, have Grafton County meetups and stuff. Just try and, you know, this is before the raid, right? Try and like decentralize like the activism stuff, because people keep saying, oh, Grafton County is the place where activists go to die and everything, and that's, you know, that's not true. There's a lot of people who want to do stuff. It just needs some organizing. But you know, as soon as I found out that LRN was in trouble and that Ian's in jail, and yeah, I made my way here as fast as I can. Thank you for having me on.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to invite everybody to visit thecrypto6.com. That's THECRYPTO, the numeral 6.com.
With the number or the numeral, like IV, or sorry, VI?
6.
Okay, the number.
Yes.
Okay, like when you say numeral, I thought it was
Not
VI.
a Roman numeral.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay, the number 6. Okay.
THECRYPTO, the number 6.com.
Hey, about the Crypto 6 and this news, it's blowing up. It's everywhere. My friend just pulls it up on his phone, and it was top article. You know?
Yeah,
Pretty
I've seen
wild.
it on MSN. I've seen it on several different, and it's too bad because all, every article I've read seems to be copy paste.
Yes,
They
it
might
has.
change a few words here or there, but for the most part, it's the same thing. It's kind of went like when broadcast television gets a hold of a story and they make those YouTube videos where they show everybody kind of saying the exact same words over and
Oh,
over
yeah,
again.
yeah.
It's
This
kind
is
of
a
like
threat
that.
to democracy.
Right.
And
The
you're
threat to
like,
democracy. Right, exactly. So it's like that. Now, we've been talking a little bit about, children and their involvement with the law. I've got this from journalnow.com. North Carolina sends 6-year-olds to court.
Okay.
Why some say it's time for a change.
well, then let's let 6-year-olds vote then, right? I mean, if you're going to bring them to court,
Well, hang on a second. You're just saying bring him to court. Are you talking about testifying? What are we talking about?
We're talking about, well, let's find out. The 6-year-old dangled his legs above the floor as he sat at the table with his defense attorney before a North Carolina judge. He was accused of picking a tulip from a yard at his bus stop. His attorney, Julie Boyer, said, and he was on trial in juvenile court for injury to real property. The boy's attention span was too short to follow the proceedings, Boyer said, so she handed him crayons and a coloring book. I asked him to color a picture, she said, so he did. He didn't know it, but no matter what the judge decided, the experience could change the boy's life, experts say, from how he sees the court system to increasing his chance of getting into trouble again and being sent to alternative school.
Yo Alma, I plead not guilty.
Like,
Oh.
they're going to talk about it here, but
Or judge, please don't do that.
Please don't
Sorry,
take my-
I had to go there.
Please don't
Because
don't take my cookies away. Right.
Yeah.
This is
Boyer and others say children that age don't have the mental capacity to understand the juvenile justice process and its consequences. When I read that sentence the first time, I went, duh!
Right.
They can't make informed decisions like whether to talk to police and what to tell them, whether to go to trial, and whether to admit to the accusations against them, which are called complaints. The North Carolina Juvenile Justice Section, part of the State Department of Public Safety, requires parents' involvement, but the accused child is the defendant and is expected to assist in his or her defense. Should a child that believes in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy be making life-altering decisions? Asked New Hanover County Chief District Court Judge Jay Coopering. The research says no, even at 10, 11, and some 14-year-olds, said Coopering, who chairs a state subcommittee studying this issue at the General Assembly's request. Now, before I go on with the article, I know you guys got comments.
oh, there's a nuclear explosion going on in my head right now.
Literal. What is it?
Well, I just want to say that I don't even mean to interrupt, but just want to say, like, just think of all the kids who've been abused, but their abuser got away because the parents or whoever didn't want to, or the prosecutor didn't want to have a little kid, or even like a 10-year-old or a teenager put on the stand because, like, oh, it's too traumatizing. And then here you have this judge, this court or law system or whoever's in charge as prosecutor that's dragging a 6-year-old kid to court, like. I mean, like, it's cliche to say, but the world's gone crazy. I mean, like, are they that much of an NPC, biological robots that they don't stop? Like, the cops, the bailiff, the person typing up, the transcript didn't stop to think, you know what we're doing is very sick and wrong right now. We should really stop, right?
That would be the non-player character NPC for our listeners who don't know, and the person typing is the stenographer.
So, thank you. Yeah, people who can't think for themselves, right? I mean, it's like just it's like to quote Colonel. Well, no, actually, I'm not going to quote Apocalypse Now. Sorry. Especially
I want to say that. I want to say that if the fallen police officers and firefighters from that memorial garden that I was, aggressively arrested and brutalized in, if they could complain, those fallen soldiers and firefighters, I wish they would file a complaint against the officer that trampled those flowers.
Yeah,
And they could use that as discovery in that case.
that is true.
Too bad they're fallen.
So when I went into the fountain and took all the pennies and quarters at Arlington Cemetery, that was illegal.
Yeah, where's the complaining party? I'm not going there.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure.
I'm just trying to make a point that, it seems like this kid is getting thrown the book for a choice that he thought was reasonable. It's beautiful. I want to pick this flower. I love this thing. I want to bring it with me now. And it's like, he doesn't have a rational mind. Maybe they don't have a rational mind when they started pressing charges on him.
Did this happen pre-COVID or post-COVID?
That's a good question.
Because, I'll use the example of Cantwell because we don't know what's going on with Ian. Like Cantwell, he was in jail for an entire year before there was even talk of having a trial because of the coronavirus and the, health and safety stuff. And yet, it's somewhere, elsewhere in the country, granted, they have time to, prosecute a kid for picking a flower. Picking a flower. It doesn't matter where the flower was, they picked the flower. That's what it is. Bring a kid to court for picking a flower.
I know this is one of the most ridiculous articles I think I've happened upon in quite some time.
It's almost like we don't have to talk about it because it's so ridiculous.
I thought the pedophilia one was bad, man. Captain, you beat me.
Well, I don't know about that, but
in terms of ridiculousness.
It is certainly one of the most ridiculous things. More ridiculous things coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Dragging
We
a
totally
poor kid
railroaded
to the
it.
court like that is just traumatizing.
The guy who messaged me saying that he was the Anarcho-Polko guy was not him, so.
Oh, Jeff Berwick?
Yeah, I didn't actually talk to him, thought I did. It was
Guys,
like a
you need
fake
to be
news.
aware that I have a lot of trolls, so they're going to try to target us. They already have started talking
Yeah.
about this shit.
Oh, the
So-
Arlington thing didn't actually happen. That's a joke.
No, I know, but they are. I'm just.
No, I'm
It's not a
saying-
warning. It's just be aware that they're gonna
Yeah.
fake people's
I have a
names. and
superpower.
Oh,
I have
I
no
see.
social media presence, so.
But this person, C. Edward Kelso, he's a fintech journalist, and he messaged me. He said, "Your boyfriend was very good to me. Hope you're well. This was our podcast from a while back," and he sent it to me. And he said, "I'm now a freelance journalist writing about his plight. Can I send you a few questions here for the record?" So.
Is his name Alex Harvey?
Edward.
Oh no, okay, no, it's someone else. Okay, very cool, awesome, that's great. That's great. Yeah, get Coin Telegraph to write about it. That's all I could think of. Get someone from Forbes to write about it.
I emailed, I think, Cointelegraph. When you sent me the email.
The editorial
Is
probably
this
gonna be
like
the best.
an antenna?
No, it's just
That's
the
magnets.
thing. It's just magnets. You pull it off.
What do you think the
Take them
fallout's
apart,
gonna
put
be
them back
for
together.
the kids these days between like
It's
the
a fidget
mass,
toy.
like
Yeah,
shit that they're
it's a
going
fidget
being
toy.
drawn through the courts, and of course
There's
people
more
assume
if you
God
want to
knows
try and
what else
combine
is
them all
going on.
together.
What monsters do you
whatever.
think
Saw
that
a
they're going
box
to turn out
of
to
them.
be like as they grow up to be from adolescents to young adults? Like it's not going to be pretty.
No, but I think it'll be a 50-50. I think we might see more empathy because so many people, because not everyone's going to turn out to be evil, right? Some people are going to.
I think
like
there's going to be a good split on it.
It's like with Batman and the Joker, I don't know if you ever read The Killing Joke, but it's like, the Joker, they both had terrible days that ruined their lives. The Joker decided to succumb to madness and nihilism and hurt people. Batman decided to dedicate his life to justice, and he helped people. Although libertarians really don't like Batman, they hate Batman. But yeah, so I mean, I'm obviously it's gonna be terrible. It's like in 1984, right? The kids were terrible in 1984, in the book. But I do have some hope that there's going to be some good people. Like, I mean, I honestly think we're living in the last great revival right now.
Right. I think there is kind of a renaissance happening. It is snowballing too, but at the same time, like it's just with all this going on, these young kids are just like they're unable to think. They're growing up with this, and
they think it's normal, and they scream and yell at someone if they're not wearing a mask. Like that's the thing, right? Imagine going from kindergarten to like let's say 2nd or 3rd grade. Right, and it's normal. And then, when they say you don't have to wear your mask anymore, it's going to be a little security blanket.
Yeah, one time, or not one time, but when I was younger and I started driving, I started noticing, but I just became aware that I was always having road rage, and I realized how much it sounded like my dad, and I was just like,
Really?
I was just like, I'm just,
Pretty sure those are banned in here.
my dad just had an issue where it's like every single thing on the road is the other person's fault. But I mean, everybody has that, but so I started copying that, and that's what kids are gonna copy with their parents yelling at people for masks.
Oh yeah, but like my dad's go-to curse word is goddamn it, and guess what I say every time I stub my toe?
friends,
He's adding in
It's
there.
actually that's because of Samuel L. Jackson. Was it the InfoWars logo, or was it the fact it was
Oh, what?
It was the meta.
It's
It was the meta.
limited
Damn,
edition.
dude.
Like,
That's fucking double points right there.
double.
like we were already gonna fire you for being late, But then you put a mask on,
Yep.
so, and it says InfoWars. So.
Well, it's like, I always wear it inside out just because, like, if I go to a gas station, I'm like, I don't want the guy to spin my food or
Have
like
I
a
showed you
restaurant.
this mine, Captain?
Oh,
Oh, is that the fake mask? It
Yeah.
is, too.
Oh, I have
Wow,
the child
interesting.
size because the other one doesn't fit me. It's too big.
Right, yeah.
The holes are too big. The virus could get. The
Okay,
virus could get
final
through all of
segment,
them.
guys. Final segment.
Okay, hold on. All right, then it's party time. What? There we go.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put together a band with no actual instruments, right? So like the bass player would be doing boom, 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 boom. Guitar player, turn, right? You'd be the drummer, and then you have like some singers who just sing, right? And then there's no actual instruments. All they ever need to perform is microphones. I thought that'd be rad.
Isn't that like Fat Albert's band, right? They didn't have any, they didn't have any instruments, right?
Na na na, gonna have a good time. We actually used to use that as our opening music. Sometimes bands will have like some sort of dramatic pre-recorded opening music before they play their show. We used to play the Fat Albert theme song. And then as soon as the music started to fade out, we'd kick in our heavy metal, and it was great. People appreciated it.
I've only ever been to one concert. That was via Blue Oyster Cult at the Colonial, and I saw the Colonial have their doors are shut, right? There's like wood or something. I don't know what's happening.
There was some sort of message on their sign, on their marquee that said, "It's been a year" or something like that. I didn't get a good look at it.
Well, like, and even Keen Cinema, which only opened like recently before the pandemic, they're still haven't moved. Like, they're still letting people in, right? I mean, obviously you have to wear a mask and when you're in common areas and stuff. But
I think they fill every other seat or something like that. I'm not sure how that works.
It's something ridiculous, right? Like, I certainly wouldn't go.
I obviously haven't been.
Especially since all like, and there's very few new things coming out. But it would be such a shame if the Colonial, because knowing the kinds of people who go to those kind of events and stuff, they're gonna super believe in this, right? We're gonna show up to in hazmat suits and stuff. So I mean, I just think it's just a shame. Like, it's like the beginning of They Live, right? With that killer intro, and it's like you see all the businesses shutting down, the alien propaganda. And I'm walking through Keene today, and I see, and they've had this sign for a long time. It's big in big letters, like a traffic sign. It's like wear your mask, obey, consume, and it's like, yeah, we're living They Live.
This is Free Talk Live for the listeners wondering what this, intense banter is that they're listening to. It is the Saturday night edition. In the studio, it's myself, the captain.
It's me, Vincent.
Breaking the Flaw.
We were talking about this article from the journal, or journalnow.com, where in North Carolina, they are placing kids on trial in courts at the ripe old age of 6. That's right, 6-year-olds. On trial in court. In this case, a particular 6-year-old who picked a flower.
I feel like you ever see Idiocracy, like, well, first off, just look at him. And it's like, can you imagine, like, the 6-year-old be like, what's wrong with me? Like,
Second of all, he looks dumb. So the research says no. Even at 10, 11, and some 14-year-olds, said Kopering, who chairs a state subcommittee studying this issue. Advocates for raising the age for juvenile proceedings include Governor Roy Cooper's task force on racial equity in criminal justice. That's a heck of a thing to just read and say out loud. Which recommends the age be raised to 12.
So as long as you're not 12, you could pick flowers for memorials.
I guess. A subcommittee of Juvenile Justice Advisory Committee, which was established by the state legislature, recommends 10. The National Juvenile Justice Network recommends 14. So all of these different committees, subcommittees, and itty-bitty other committees, can't agree on what the youngest age to potentially try children should be. I'm, of course, asking, who's ridiculous enough to try a 6-year-old in court? Why is this even a thing? Why am I reading this in an article on my phone? It's 2021.
even for the charges they're oh my god, the 6-year-old's being charged with, they're just ridiculous. Like, you pick the flower. I mean, I understand you might have like disturbed these type of things, but I mean, how do you make a complaint on that? The police must have made this stick. Were they like
Put the kids in cuffs.
I don't get it.
Many kids who appear in juvenile court are accused of inappropriate sexual conduct with other children, she said. This is District Attorney Lauren Freeman, who's on the conference's executive and legislative committees, believes that there will be an agreement to raise the age. At what age and under what circumstances are still being explored, she said. The current process can get them help to prevent more victims and troubled lives. Frankly, a lot of times it is thought that process that we identify themselves, this is poorly written, are victims, and that enables a larger investigation, she said.
Which outlet is it from?
Journalnow.com, North Carolina. Jim Woodall, District Attorney for Orange and Chatham counties, and Satana DeBerry, District Attorney for Durham County, support raising the age as well. A 6-year-old cannot comprehend what is taking place in court, but probably will never forget being labeled delinquent, DeBerry wrote in an email. And I agree. Any child is not going to be able to understand court. What they are going to be able to understand, however, is something bad happened and they got labeled a bad kid and they had to go sit in front of some adults and be called bad by all of the adults in a room where they're made to feel bad no matter what they do, because that's what government does.
I mean, that's not the kid learning a lesson. You're traumatizing a kid into, if anything, you just created another person in the resistance. Okay, this kid's gonna grow up and be like, I can't believe this happened to me when I was a kid. This obvious is all baloney, and we obviously don't have America here. So guess what? I'm gonna join the forces of liberty and freedom and go against everything that they're saying and try to find systems outside their realm of control.
And it's like, I think this just shows how much of like a prison society we're in, because you're hearing right now some of the like Biden diplomats are saber rattling about China's human rights abuses, but I'd say both the U.S. and China are equally bad, just in different areas. The U.S. has just as many, if not more, of its own citizens in jail. Proportionally, I assume, in jail than China, right? Like it used to be that cops, if they saw an underage person drinking, instead of tasing them and putting them in cuffs, like happens by the college, they would just pour the beer out, right? My dad, when he was a kid in the 60s and 70s, he remembers, the cops would just pour the beer out and the guy would be embarrassed. These cops, they could have, instead of arresting the kid, they could have just, obviously got his parents, right? And just say, look, that monument you desecrated and took a flower, most people died, and this is and the kid would feel bad probably for,
the rest of his life.
Well, no, but he would understand why it was wrong to take flowers.
Oh, right.
It's like,
sure, right,
it's the same thing as like, let's remove the government from it. It's like, if it's like a kid, goes into a graveyard and picks a bunch of flowers in front of these weird stones of writing for his mom. It's like the same thing. So, you teach the kid, you do a better job teaching the kid a lesson by reasoning with him instead of, and also, the opposite could happen, Joe, right? The kid could be so traumatized, he becomes a total little, it's like a Stockholm syndrome, goody two-shoes for the state, right. And like every problem he has, he'll call the police.
All right, how the juvenile proceedings work. Cases start with a complaint being filed against a child. During an intake process, court counselors determine whether the complaint should be dismissed, go to court, or deferred if the youth participates in a community program, social services, and completes other promised action. If a case goes to court and a juvenile is found guilty, dispositions can range from a referral to social services or probation to community service or commitment to a private or state facility. The next time somebody says, oh, we live in the land of the free and the government doesn't get all up in your business, I'm going to show them this article.
It's a good one. It's a good one to show.
6-year-olds. Somebody is employed by the government to make the decision as to whether or not a 6-year-old who picks a flower should go to court, and they decided it's a good idea to send this 6-year-old to court.
Oh yeah, I think if this had happened in like any other decade, this would be like national news, headlines, PR disaster, the president calling the kid to apologize or whatever. But now today, the number one message that they have to have the plebs, no matter what age they are, get across is that you do what you're told.
Yeah, it is appalling. This article says it was appalling. The 6-year-old accused of picking the tulip ended up before a judge because his mother couldn't make the intake meeting. Once the judge realized what was happening, he did dismiss the case, says Boyer. So,
Oh, you should have said that in the. Oh, okay, all right, okay.
but
Okay.
But no, it's still outrageous. Why should a 6-year-old even be subjected to needing an attorney, a defense attorney? Right? He's 6.
At the very most that the kid could have done is picked up a little trash around the property for about 10 minutes. That's how much a tulip's worth to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I owned property and I were growing some tulips and a 6-year-old came and picked one, I might be, hey, you little, whatever, yell some kind of a name at him. And, if his mom or dad is around, maybe go, tell him not to do that. And then I'd be like, well, what can you do? 6-year-old picked the tulip.
That's
Big
right.
deal, right?
What can you do?
He'll grow another one next year.
He's a kid. That's what kids do.
So good on the judge for this. So that means it must be the prosecutor and the cops who are, who are pushing and behind that. So shame on them.
This has been Free Talk Live. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are out of time today. We are on 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Don't forget to visit thecrypto6.com. Thanks.
Free
Peace.
in, free nobody. I want to say it nice and strong.
All right. So yeah, sorry again that I was late. It's just are you gonna turn the?
Oh yeah,
you
you can
can
turn it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's love. Don't apologize for that shit.
Hey guys, thank you all for watching tonight. So we all had to say for a second here before I get out of here.
Awesome. Take care. Awesome.
Carolina, Fort Worth, thank you for coming in here.
Peace out,
Check
guys.
me out. Okay, everyone go check out Carolina and Fort Worth. Check her channel out. She's got great stuff. She grills prison guards. Oh my God. Eh, are you gonna beat up some people today? What kind of drugs you bringing in there? We got CFW Carolina in Fort Worth. She's great. She's a great auditor.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Mad props.
Brave.
Texas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dallas Fort Worth is DFW, is that what you said?
CFW Carolina in Fort Worth.
Carolina. Oh,
No one's gone missing in Dallas Fort Worth, right?
South.
And then we also have News Now Fort
It's
Worth in
corrupt
here.
around there. Like,
Oh.
if you go and investigate crime,
Are
you're
you talking about
putting
Fort
yourself.
Hood?
Well, Dallas
Oh.
Fort Worth, just awesome.
Had to jump through there multiple times.
Guys, thank you for coming in here. This is the last night I'm gonna be doing. Maybe I might come back. Right? Am I gonna come back and do this again? Is it needed?
Captain's doing the archive.
But
I'm
I would
guessing.
say yes. Come back
Yeah.
and do this again.
Okay, I'm gonna have to come back and do it again.
absolutely
That's an invite right there.
I'm moving to the area, so it'll be
hell yeah.
a lot easier. It's almost 2 hours to get here, guys.
Oh.
So,
geez,
yeah.
Yeah.
You are a super trooper.
Do you guys? This was my schedule last night. Okay, I got home at 5:30, and then I got up to come do this. So I got to the protest
Oh, cool. Yeah.
in
What,
2
take a
hours.
shower and sleep, and then just come right back into town, huh?
You got it, man.
Yeah. Well, that is
That's
a trooper.
dedication, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good for you.
It's
man.
tough.
Thank
Weekends
you.
are tough because we go late cop blocking. So.
Oh, yeah.
The service, you call that service before self,
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, as soon as I heard y'all getting raided, well, not y'all, but this place and elsewhere, I didn't even hesitate. I just jumped in, went. I'm not playing. You guys are my friends, and I hope maybe if I ever had to deal with this, which I hope not, because I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't break the law. I break the flaw. Thank you all for watching.
Nice. Nice catch.
But I would hope that my friends have my back too. That's all. And
absolutely would. And I know that Ian would if it was something opposite.
He has in the past.
Yeah.
He stood behind people and helped them defend against bogus charges, and successfully so. I mean, with
Oh, yeah.
cop block.
If we've been woken up at 6 a.m. to anybody else here's house is being raided, we would be there.
yes, absolutely. In a heartbeat, guys. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we can't use a useful app to get that done, but we can communicate other ways. So, all right, guys.
That's the website.
What's that?
There's the website,
The website.
thecrypto6.com.
Oh
Is there a
yes.
contact form?
Well, no, I mean it's in communication between us all. And stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like
sorry.
just
Oh,
general.
We're all still on
Right,
Telegram. I mean, like, I
Telegram.
don't.
Telegram. Encrypted Telegram. There you go. Make sure you lock it on your phone, because what's the point of using it if you guys didn't realize that?
Hey, Captain, I wanted to.
All right,
elaborate
guys.
on
Peace
remember
out, guys. Thank you all for coming.
the analogy I made earlier while we were eating about overstirring